is the Big Bash League on 5 Live Sports Extra.
Hello and welcome to live commentary of the Big Bash League on 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sounds app and the BBC Sport website. Today the action is in Perth, the magnificent Optus Stadium, where the informed Perth Scorchers take on Hobart Hurricanes. My name is Stefan Schemmelt. I can tell you that Hobart have won the bat flip and the visitors will bat first. I'm alongside Abhishek Junjunwala, formerly of Deccan, Pune and Rajasthan in the IPL. Abhishek, Hobart are 4th, Perth are 5th. The top 5 qualify for the playoffs. It's hotting up as we move towards the end of the group stage, isn't it, in the Big Bash League?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a big game tonight between these two. And both teams, to be honest, wants to keep the momentum going of winning matches, and it'll be a cracker of a game, that much I can tell you. And with Scorchers batting first, they've got a great batting order and a lot of English players as well. And Jason Roy, I think, slowly getting in form is good news for them as well.
To go through the two 11s, you mentioned Abhishek, Jason Roy at the top of the Perth Scorchers 11. We'll see a little bit later on Jason Roy and Liam Livingston, the All-England pair, opening up for the Perth Scorchers. Cameron Bancroft, the Australia international, he's into the team tonight because of an injury to Colin Munro. He'll bat at 3. Then it's Josh Inglis, Mitchell Marsh, Ashton Turner, Aaron Hardy, the all-rounder born in Bournemouth, Jai Richardson, the pace bowler, Andrew Ty, Jason Berendorf and Fawad Ahmed, the leg spinner. The Scorchers X-Factor subs, as they seem to have been all season, 2 men with a lot of time on the bench, Joel Parrish and Curtis Patterson. For the Hurricanes, they're batting first. Darcy Short will be joined by Ben McDermott at the top of the order. Ben McDermott, the leading run scorer in the Big Bash League so far this season. Dawid Malan, England's Dawid Malan at number 3, the world number 1 ranked T20 batsman. Then Peter Hanscom, Colin Ingram, Tim David, very powerful top 6. Number 7, Mitchell Owen, 19-year-old all-rounder, professional debut tonight. He's only previously played for the Tasmania second 11. Then the bowlers Nathan Ellis, Scott Boland, the pacey Riley Meredith and the leg spin of the Nepalese Sandeep Lamachane. The Hurricanes X-Factor subs are Mac Wright and Nick Winter. And Abhishek, you touched on it, the thing that leaps out from those two teams, some powerful batting lineups.
Oh, it's very powerful. If you look at both sides, they're very heavy on their batting. They bat deep, they bat number 7, number 8, and a lot of X-Factor players, a lot of players who can come in at any time and change the course of the game, a lot of power hitters as well. And that's what T20 cricket is all about. You want to see those power hitters at number 5, 6, 7 who can come out there and hit some lusty blows.
Glorious sunshine in Perth as the Scorchers emerge into the bowl-like Optus Stadium. Flames shoot into the air. The Scorchers, as usual, they're in their orange and black kit. If you can imagine Blackpool Football Club, it's that sort of orange. And now here come the Hobart Hurricanes openers in their purple. Darcy Short and Ben McDermott shadow batting all the way. And Ben McDermott, the leading run scorer, 299 runs, a strike rate of 139, just over 139. Abhishek, it's not often that Darcy Short gets overshadowed in an opening partnership in T20 cricket, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, Darcy Short had a very average season so far. He's hardly scored any runs for the Hobart Hurricane, and probably tonight is the night he will look to change those things. But if you talk about McDermott, what a phenomenal season he had. Started with 100, then 89, another 91 in there, and 46, 31. He's been consistent throughout the season. And I think at the moment the Hobart Hurricane is heavily dependent on how McDermott starts. So it'll be very important in tonight's game that he gets going again for them.
I mentioned that the Scorchers are in form. They've won their last 4. They had no win in their first 4 games, but they've since beaten the Strikers, the Renegades, the Sixers and the Thunder. Hobart, they've played 9 games in comparison to Perth's 8. They won 5 of their first 7 but have lost their last 2. So Hobart, they start this game in 4th place on 19 points. Perth Scorchers are 5th on 16. Remember, there's a maximum of 4 on offer. 3 for the win, 1 for the Bash boost point for whichever side has the best score after 10 overs. And this game is going to start with a bang because Jai Richardson has the ball along with Wes Agar. He's the leading wicket taker, and as we mentioned, Ben McDermott and Darcy Short opening the batting for Hobart. McDermott is the leading run scorer and he's on strike. 2 slips in place as Jai Richardson is into McDermott, who goes onto the back foot, pushes up to mid-on, takes a short single, and he's away right away. Hobart 1 without loss.
A very good start. Again, just tapping it and running, and that's what you want in T20 cricket. It's often said that the team which plays the lesser amount of dot balls have got most likely to win the game, and if you can't hit boundaries in T20 cricket, you should always look to get singles, and that's exactly what McDermott did. It was a very good delivery by Jai Richardson, just short of length and getting a bit of extra bounce as well, but McDermott nicely on top and just playing it towards the onside and running a quick single.
Now it's Short, the left-hander. Still 2 slips in place as Richardson bowls. That is a short delivery. It's quick. Flies over Short's shoulder. He thinks about a hook shot but pulls out, and it's a dot ball. And Richardson already starting with intent, aggression. As I mentioned, 17 wickets, joint top of the pile with Adelaide strikers Wes Agar. It's his economy rate that stands out as well, 6.43. That's very good in context of the rest of the bowlers that have been taking a lot of wickets in this year's BBL.
It's exceptional. Anything under 7 is just exceptional in T20 cricket. And he's looking hungry as well, Jai Richardson.
Number 2 on his back, dark hair. He bowls to Darcy Short, who can only play the ball back up towards mid-off, and it's another dot ball. As you mentioned, Abhishek, Darcy Short not having the best time of it. We expect so much from him. An explosive left-hander, hits the ball miles, but only 141 runs in 9 innings so far, and that includes 1 knock of 72 versus the Adelaide strikers.
Yeah, absolutely. And apart from that, it's just been hit and miss. He's got a few 20s and double-figure scores, but most of the time he's gone out quite cheaply, so he's got to be a bit careful how he starts. Doesn't want to take too many risks, give himself a little bit more time tonight.
Richardson bowls to Short on the hip, can't work it into the onside. It's only a small crowd so far in that very big stadium, but they're applauding Richardson's early efforts. Only 1 run conceded from the first 4 deliveries.
He's bowling a very good length here. He's not giving any room as well, keeping it really tight. Everything has been on the stumps, so it's very difficult at the moment for Darcy Short. 3 dots. He will be under a bit of pressure to try and make full use of the first 4 overs.
Short waits, bat raised as Richardson bowls. This time Short can get off the mark with a nudge into the onside off the back foot, just short of the mid-on fielder, allowing the Hobart Hurricanes to scamper through for their second single. 2 without loss, with 1 delivery of the first over remaining.
I just want to just point a few things about Darcy Short. Whatever I've seen of him in this year's competition, sometimes he's just hurried up to play those big shots too early. He's somebody who can change gears at any time. I think players like him should give themselves a bit more time in the middle.
Richardson to McDermott, hits McDermott on the pad, half an appeal, but that's surely too high. But nevertheless, that ends an excellent first over from Jai Richardson. The joint leading wicket taker in the Big Bash League concedes only 2 runs from the first set. Hobart 2 without loss after winning the toss.
Yeah, that's a very good over, and that's exactly what you expect from your premium fast bowler when you win the bat flip and elect to field. And good start. There will be a bit of pressure on the Hurricanes here, but Scorchers starting really well. And in the first 4 overs, you've got to try and make the most of it without losing too many wickets. We have seen that in T20 cricket for a long time. You've got to make full use of those power plays, and then there's a power surge after the first 10. You have the option of using those anytime after the 10 overs, but I still feel the first 4 overs are very crucial if you want to build a good platform.
As Abhishek mentions, it's 4 overs of power play, initial 4 overs of power play in the Big Bash League, 2 more to be taken in the second 10. Here comes left armer Jason Berendorf, nudged into the onside by Darcy Short, just to the edge of the 30-yard circle for a 3rd single. Hobart 3 without loss. And as a reminder, if you're not familiar with those playing conditions in the Big Bash League that have come into effect this season, as I mentioned, only 4 overs of power play to begin with, further 2 to be chosen by the batting side in the second 10 overs. A bash boost point to the team who has the best score after 10 overs and the X-Factor substitute, which can be used after 10 overs of the first innings. Behrendorff, slip in place to McDermott, lovely straight drive. Only saved a boundary by the fact it hits the stumps at the non-strikers end. Lovely shot by Ben McDermott, who has done out of a boundary.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to see better shots than that tonight. Was an exceptional shot by McDermott. Beautiful shot. You could watch it on replay all day. That was such a beautiful shot. Very unfortunate not to get a run off it, hitting it too straight.
Behrendorff, number 5, bowls to McDermott. This is straight delivery, can only play it up towards mid-on for a dot ball, so Hobart Hurricanes have now got 9 deliveries at the start of this innings without finding the boundary.
And you can sense that the batsmen are getting a bit edgy as well. They're getting a bit itchy as well to hit some boundaries, so probably we'll see McDermott or Darcy shot. Probably McDermott taking a few chances in the next 3 deliveries, because if they don't get too many runs in the first 2 overs, they'll be a bit behind of the game here.
Behrendorff, McDermott comes down the track. Again, it's only a single. Crabbing the ball up to mid-on. Hobart Hurricanes 4 without loss. Excellent start by the Perth Scorchers, and we mentioned that they're the team in form. 4 successive victories. They're 3-time Big Bash champions, twice runners-up. Only finished 6th last year, and they were bottom the year before. Some suggestion that the loss of Justin Langer as coach to Australia had affected them, or the move to the Optus Stadium, the Wacker previously being such a strong weapon. But 4 straight wins as Behrendorff bowls to short. This is a sweetly timed drive down the ground. It beats the dive of mid-on and will find the boundary for the first time. Classical stroke from short, Behrendorff just drifting into the pads, and short with a straight drive just to the onside of the non-striker stumps picks up a boundary. Hobart 8 without loss.
Yeah, it's lovely to see such shots. Just playing it beautifully back past the mid-on fielder, and didn't try and hit it hard, just timed it beautifully as well. Head position, beautiful. What a shot that was from Darcy shot. That will give him a lot of confidence going forward into this innings.
Last ball from Behrendorff. Again, it's an on-drive from short, but this time it's straight to the mid-on fielder. So Hobart Hurricanes 8 without loss after 2. Darcy Short has 6. Ben McDermott has 2. I tell you what, Abhishek, it looks like a belting pitch.
It does look like a very good pitch to bat on. And that's the reason the batsmen have the luxury sometimes. If it's a good pitch, they assess the pitch quite early. They know that they can play the shots whenever they feel like, so they can give themselves a little bit of time at the start of the innings. Trying to rush things can sometimes get you into a bit of a tangle as well. So they're doing the right thing. They're trying to build a foundation, just assess the pitch, see what the bowlers are trying to do, and then they can unleash any time, because it does look like an absolute belter of a pitch here.
That's the voice of Abhishek Junjunwala, former Deccan, Pune and Rajasthan in the Indian Premier League. My name is Stefan Schemmelt. It's live commentary of the Big Bash League on Sports Extra as Jai Richardson bowls Ben McDermott. The leading wicket taker knocks over the leading run scorer. It was an inside edge from McDermott, tentative prod really. Bat pushed out in front of the front pad, and the inside edge sees the ball cannon into the top of middle and leg stump. Jai Richardson strikes, Ben McDermott goes for 2. Hobart Hurricanes are 8 for 1.
Yeah, again, you feel like he's just gotten done for pace here. A bit late onto that delivery, McDermott. Didn't expect it to be that quick. That ball pitched and skid very, very quickly towards the batsman, and then at the end just getting a bottom edge onto the stumps. Very good start for the Scorchers again, and Jai Richardson proving why he's been so good in this year's competition. The highest wicket taker at the moment with that wicket, and economy rate of under 7. That's just exceptional. Massive wicket, but in comes the number 1 T20 player in the world at the moment, David Malan. A lot would depend on how he plays. He's got a few runs in this year's competition. He's got a 75, he's got a 39, but he would want to get another big knock here for the Hobart Hurricanes tonight.
Well, David Malan, ranked number 1 by the ICC when it comes to T20 batsmen, is just scratching at his guard. Perhaps the only positive for Ben McDermott from that knock is that he has become the first batsman this season to reach 300 runs in the Big Bash League. He's ticked over to 301. Jai Richardson now out on his own as the leading wicket taker with 18. And if we're talking about good form, well, the year Dawid Malan has had in T20 cricket has been absolutely outstanding. He's now playing his first Big Bash season. Scores of 15, 39, 75, 26 and 20 so far. And the left-hander is facing up to Jai Richardson for the first time, and that's a straight delivery that Malan, with that sort of awkward, jerky, jumping on the spot motion that he often does at the start of his innings, plays the ball into the onside and there's no run.
It was a very good delivery, very well thought delivery to Malan. Again, we are watching the replay of the previous delivery where he got McDermott out. Was a terrific delivery. The good thing about that ball was the length. The length so far Jai Richardson had bowled been very, very difficult for the batsman to get away with.
Richardson's a slender figure. He's got an angled approach to a Malan who's trying to pull shot, but that's just hit him on the thigh pad. It trickles into the offside and there's no run. Malan, of course, will have excellent memories of playing in Perth. It was in this city where he made an Ashes century 3 years ago. Not on this ground. It was at the Wacker, just over the Swan River. He had an excellent tour of Australia, really, Malan. One of the few bright spots for England. Hasn't really kicked on in Test match cricket. He has played 15 matches, though. As Richardson bowls to Malan, again, that's on the hip. And Malan's hopping around, because I think that's missed his thigh pad or whatever protection he's got around there. Might have even got him on the inside of the knee. No, just below the thigh pad. That's really sore when Richardson is bowling at this pace, crashing into the flesh. Hobart remain 8 for 1.
Yeah, that's again a very, very quick delivery. Though the ball hit him on the thigh pad, but at the very bottom of the thigh pad, that's why it still hurts a lot. And Dawid Malan in a bit of a pain. But the length in the line Richardson has bowled so far to Dawid Malan has been really good. Hardly given him anything to work with.
Again, Richardson bowls to Malan. That's full. I think only an inside edge there has saved Malan from at least a question of an LBW decision. Richardson's got his hands on his head. Excellent figures so far for Jai Richardson. 1 for 2 from 11 deliveries. He's bowling with a real head of steam, and just when we see the replay, it was a very, very big inside edge to a full delivery.
There's some great intent, the way he's bowling, the way he's walking back to his run-up. You can see how hungry he is to do well. He wants to prove a point here.
Richardson in the sunshine, shadowed to his left, bowls to Malan. That's a bouncer that Malan ducks underneath. No question of a wide. It's a dot ball. Richardson again touching 90 miles an hour. Another excellent over from the BBL's leading wicket taker. He has 1 for 2. Hobart Hurricanes are 8 for 1. Abhishek, you wouldn't think that such a waif-like figure of Jai Richardson could bowl with such aggression and pace. I mean, to me, he looks like he should be fronting a sort of a moody indie rock band, not bowling fast in Australia.
Yeah, he looks quite lanky, and you wouldn't expect somebody like him, come run so hard and bowl so quick as well. But it's all about the attitude at the end of the day, and he's got one. He's got a great attitude towards bowling, and probably that's the reason he's been so good. More
from Jason Behrendorff. Darcy Short tucks off the hip to the edge of the 30-yard circle. Malan wants a second, but as the fielders converge, Darcy Short sends him back. 9 for 1. This vice-like grip that the Scorchers have kept on the Hurricanes at the start of this innings continues. And remember, this is the last over of the mandatory power play at the beginning.
Absolutely, and that's what shows if you've got a good bowling unit and they're stuck to their plan, they come out there in the middle and execute it properly as well. You can put a lot of pressure on the batting unit, even though they have one of the best batting units in the competition. But still, if you can bowl those lines and if you can bowl those lengths and not give much to the batsman to work with, it could be very difficult out there, even on a good pitch.
The tall Behrendorff bowls to Malan, who chips the ball there and is taken at mid-on. While Malan was walking down the track, he turned it into a decent length ball, tried to clip the ball wide of mid-on, who took a couple of paces to his left and took the catch on his knees. The world's number 1 T20 batsman falls for a duck, and the Hobart Hurricanes are 9 for 2.
Yeah, you felt like he didn't want to play that ball in the air. He just wanted to play it in the gap between that mid-on and the mid-wicket fielder, but just didn't get, could keep it down. The ball just looped straight to the mid-on field. A good catch. He had to go a fair amount on his left, but David Milan goes for a duck after playing 6 deliveries. And you got to give a lot of credit to the bowling here. They kept the pressure on and didn't let the batsman get away with it. So Hurricanes in a bit of a spot here, losing 2 wickets just for 9 after 3.2 overs.
It was the man from Bournemouth, Aaron Hardy, who took the catch. Milan was sort of fetching the ball from outside the off stump. Maybe that was why he couldn't keep it along the ground, and Hardy made decent ground to his left to take the catch. So Behrendorff has 1 for 7, and the new batsman is the Hobart Hurricanes captain, Peter Hanscom.
Yeah, he's another very experienced cricketer, been there, done that. He's been there for a long time in the Big Bash, and now with 2 in-form batsmen in the hut, a lot depends on this partnership here.
Behrendorff to Hanscom. Hanscom defends from the crease, slipping a gully in place now. That'll be a bit of knowledge of Hanscom. He's a player who does play through that gully region. It's where England worked him out during the last Ashes series in Australia. And Hanscom, 125 runs from 9 innings, strike rate of 114, highest score of 30, so he could do with some runs. He's got an open stance as Behrendorff bowls and Hanscom defends into the offside. The Perth Scorchers, they're just buzzing all over the place at the moment. Like I mentioned, there's that slip and gully in place, but the offside ring seems ever so tight. It just doesn't look like there's a way that Hobart can get a run through there. It's almost like they've got more than 11 fielders or 11 players on the pitch at the moment. Hobart 9 for 2, 2 deliveries the 4th over remaining.
If you're 9 for 2 after 3.4, you'll always feel like that. There's far too many fielders on the field. Yes.
Behrendorff bowls to Hanscom, pushed drive just wide of the mid-off fielder. This misfield, which will allow them to come back for 2. The ball rolling away into the shadow of the stand. So Hanscom's away, Hurricanes on to 11 for 2. And the way things are going at the moment, Hobart will take all the help they can get.
Well, absolutely, and a bit sloppy there with his fielding. Should have definitely stopped it, but just an extra run. And these small moments in cricket, especially in T20 cricket, can change the whole course of the game.
The mistake was by Hardy, the man who took the catch. Behrendorff to complete the over. Hanscom across his stumps, whipping the ball past mid-on. That's an innovative stroke for 4. Hanscom walked across, took a delivery that was wide of off stump, and with sweet timing got it past mid-on for a welcome boundary. Hobart Hurricanes are 15 for 2. They've lost Ben McDermott and David Milan after electing to bat.
And that's exactly what I meant, Stefan, when I said that it could change the course of the game, because if Darcy Short was facing that delivery, he wouldn't have played that shot. That ball was way outside the off stump. He walked outside the off stump, played an innovative shot through that mid-wicket region, played it beautifully, Hanscom, but still, that one run gave extra 5 runs to the Hurricanes, and sometimes that's what you need. You need a bit of momentum to shift gears, and suddenly everything falls into place. So as a fielding unit, it's very important that you bring out your best game all the time. You have to stop every run possible in T20 cricket.
First bowling change, Andrew Tye into the attack for the Scorchers. 34-year-old, vastly experienced. He's taken 10 wickets in 7 games so far. The right-arm pace bowler. No slip as Tye bowls to Short, who just defends into the offside, and there's no run.
They've been very impressive with the length they have bowled. All their bowlers have done their homework against all these players. They play against each other throughout the year, and they know exactly what these players can and cannot do. So they've done their homework very well.
One thing you would say about the Hobart Hurricanes is the batting keeps coming. They're 2 down, but they've got Hanscom and Short at the middle. Colin Ingram next, then Tim David, as Tye bowls to the hip of Darcy Short. Short can't turn it away, and it's another dot ball. So the Hurricanes have got power in the middle and power to come. That's not to say that 15 for 2 after 4.2 overs isn't a particularly sticky situation at the moment, because it is.
Absolutely, and they just need a partnership. They need a partnership of these two to get to the 50, 55, 60, and from there try and provide a little bit of a platform for the others to come later on.
Andrew Tye, right arm over, trundles in. That's a sweet drive from Darcy Short, but again, there's a Perth Scorchers fielder. This time it's Mitchell Marsh at short cover, diving to prevent the run. Bar that one blemish from Aaron Hardy, they've been excellent with the ball and in the field so far, the Perth Scorchers.
Absolutely. Darcy Short under a bit of pressure here. 7 of 11, hasn't had the best of the years of Big Bash this year. He's definitely looking for runs.
Andrew Tye, beard around his chops, black towel in the back of his trousers, short ball. Darcy Short, I don't know if he thought about a ramp there. He's now looking accusingly at the square leg umpire who hasn't exercised his arms. Andrew Tye has now bowled 4 dot balls at the beginning of his spell. Darcy Short 7 from 12.
And the Scorchers have used the bouncer really well tonight. They have surprised the batsmen all the time with that bouncer. They're bowling that hard length where it's difficult for the batsman to get under it and try and hit it over the infield. So they've really come out all guns buzzing here and just kept things tight.
Tye, number 68 on his back, bowls to Short, who drives a full delivery straight at Mitchell Marsh. It's another dot, and the crowd, even though the vast stadium makes the noise echo around, you can still hear that applause. They're appreciating what the home team are doing. It's wonderful Optus Stadium, just on the banks of the Swan River. It's across the water from the Wacker. You can see each stadium on each bank of the river. As Tye bowls to complete the over, this is a short ball, and Darcy Short finally takes a run off Andrew Tye. I'm certain it was off the bat. We'll wait for a signal. Either way, the Hurricanes will end the over 16 for 2. Hanscom has 6, Darcy Short has 8. Just talking about the Swan River in Perth, I know a man who knows a lot about running around the Swan River, Abhishek. He can tell you all about the 2 bridges, the 3 bridges, or the four bridges, because he has trod those paths out on his runs when he's been in Australia. After some thoughts from you, it's going to be Simon Mann.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a situation here for the Hobart Hurricanes, though they have a lot of batting, but they're still struggling after 5 overs, 16 for 2, which Hanscom and Short, both very experienced cricketers in the middle. They need a bit of a partnership here, Simon.
Hello, Abhishek. It's one of the loveliest runs in the world, that run, the Swan River. Is it 3 bridges or the 2 bridges? It's definitely better tell us next time he's on. But it's a lovely way to spend 6 o'clock in the morning. 16 for 2 after 5 overs. Hanscom 6 and Short on 8. Well, we just need a bit of wisdom from Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home as far as the Perth Scorchers are concerned. They struggled on the road, but they like it in the west, where the pitches are a bit harder and bouncier, and they can employ their quick bowlers to good effect. Richardson and Berendorf and Tye. And here's Mitch Marsh moving in, bowls to Short. The left-hander gets it off his hip. It's stopped by the wicket-keeper, and Inglis, he hurls the ball at the stumps. They do run through for a leg bye. Our 2 umpires today, Michael Graham-Smith and Nathan Johnston. Donovan Cock is the 3rd umpire. 17 for 2, the Hobart Hurricanes, who decided to bat first. I think the Perth Scorchers quite like batting first, getting a big score on the board, and Hobart like to bat first as well, generally. Likewise, get a score on the board and try to squeeze the opposition. 17 for 2 in the 6th.
I think most of the teams in the T20 format likes to do that. They like to get that big 180, 190 on board and put the pressure back on the opponent. But tonight, you've got to give credit to the Scorchers, the way they came out and bowled. They've hardly given any room to the Hurricanes.
Marsh bowls to Hanscom. Hanscom struck on the pad there. The ball going down the leg side. Inglis steps forward and tries to run out the non-striker, running to the striker's end. The ball misses the stumps, and they're through for another run. 18 for 2. Hanscom 6, Short 8. They are struggling to get the ball away on a very warm late afternoon in Perth. It's 28 degrees, and they have to start a bit earlier pro rata than the other teams on the East Coast, so that they can show it on television on the East Coast, so it's not 3 o'clock in the morning by the time the game finishes on the East Coast.
Absolutely, but 28 degrees.
Now here's a problem for Mitch Marsh. After he bowled that delivery, he's walking off the field. He did have an injury coming into the tournament because he was injured in the IPL. He didn't want the captaincy because he wanted to focus on his own fitness and situation. That's a big blow for the Scorchers. I have to say, I've really started to fancy this competition, especially the more they can play at home. They have to play away in the next game, but that's a huge blow for them. He just walked off disconsolately, and he's one of their main players, of course, principally batting, but he also bowls some useful overs. So Ashton Turner's got to complete the over. 3 balls left of it. A bit quiet after that one. Here is Turner, round the wicket, lobbed up, down towards long on, and they're through for a single. It's a bit like net bowling, that first delivery from Ashton Turner. You wouldn't mind facing that, Abhishek?
Absolutely not. That was just a juicy full toss on the off stump. But he's just going to bowl those 3 balls because Mitch Marsh, as you mentioned, is a massive blow. Not just because of his bowling. He's such an important part of the team when it comes to batting, and a very good fielder. He's a very good all-rounder.
Yeah.
We played together for the Pune Warriors, but he's always had that problem with injuries. He always gets injured. His body probably somehow just doesn't.
Here is Turner bowling right down round the wicket. He's flogged into the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket. There's a fielder out there, so it won't be 4. Cameron Bancroft out there at deep mid-wicket. Hanscom goes to 7, shorts on 9. It's 20 for 2, just a single there to Hanscom. Turner has a best of 2 for 3 in the Big Bash. He's taken 11 wickets over the piece. Doesn't bowl a huge amount. That one is knocked into the leg side, and they're through for another single. So he's actually got out the over pretty well there, Ashton Turner, with 3 singles. 21 for 2 after 6 overs, and that's still a very good start for the Perth Scorchers, but they are Mitch Marsh down. It remains to be seen whether he comes out to bat. I mean, it didn't look so serious that he wouldn't bat if required, but of course you don't want to increase the injury if you're going to run and sprint, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to Mitch Marsh, as I mentioned, I've always seen him get injured, and a lot of people have bodies which are prone to injury, and I've seen it so many times in cricket with so many players as well who I've played with, and I've seen them over the years. It's a bit sad, but that's how the body works. Sometimes it's not in your control, but hopefully it's nothing serious to Mitch, and he'll come back and bat and probably bowl again later as well.
Here is Ty moving in to bowl, and Short knocks it away into the onside up towards long on for a single. I've got some news to give you that we will be bringing you ball by ball commentary on the Sri Lanka versus England series from Thursday morning. You don't have to get up early, but you perhaps have to wake up early, like lying under the duvet or the sheets or whatever. 4:15 in the morning we're on air for that one. We tried to bring the start time forward into the breakfast time, but I'm afraid the daylight in Sri Lanka doesn't allow that to happen. No, that's only a joke. No, so 4:15 in the morning, 4:30 start. First test between England and Sri Lanka. Ty bowls, it's outside the off stump, it's guided away in the air down towards third man. A typical Perth shot, really, using the pace. Fawad Ahmed is down there, sends in the return, and they're through for one more. Hanscom with the single. 23 for 2, so a ball by ball commentary on both the test matches between Sri Lanka and England. Both matches in Gaul. Thursday start, so 5 days, and then 3-day break, and then the second test match also in Gaul because of all the biosecurity issues, and just playing in the one venue. Lovely venue, but of course no spectators. I say no spectators, but I mean they'll be making their way up to the ramparts. Here is Short playing a low pull there out towards deep back with square leg. 2 fielders out there, he's found the gap between them. It's scooped up inside the boundary rope, and they come back for a couple. So Short goes to 13, and it's 25 for 2 in the 7th over. I'm interested to see how they police that, because you can watch from outside the ground at Gaul. Yeah. Up on the fort there. So there might be people watching.
Oh, there will be plenty, I'm sure.
No spectators inside the ground.
Yeah, we'll have to see again when we get the spectators back.
Ty bowls, Short drives into the offside, out towards extra covers. A good looking shot again. It won't be 4. It's picked up in the deep. Liam Livingston is there, sends in the return, and Short gets 2 more, takes him to 15. It's 27 for 2 in this 7th over.
And then we'll have to wait and see if India allows spectators for the big England versus India series, because there's a lot of cricket.
I think they've said no. They've said no for that. Ty goes in to bowl to the left-handed Darcy Short, and it is a short ball, and it flies through, and Short bends at the knees and allows it to go through to Josh Inglis, the wicket-keeper. And it's nice to see a pitch with some pace and bounce, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you've got to give a lot of credit the way the bowlers have bowled as well. They've used the pitch where there's a bit of pace and bounce. They've bent their backs. They bowl hard. They bowl fast. And the batsmen are not finding it easy, especially when you have bowlers who can bowl. All of their fast bowlers can rack up some real pace, 140, 145 kilometers an hour. Never easy.
Tie bowls to short. And that flies through outside the off stump again. That extra nip, pace, bounce, whatever you want to call it. And Shaw is groping for it. He's got a big smile on his face. And the pitch is a bit different in Hobart. 27 for 2 after 7 overs. The Hobart Hurricanes. Hanscom is 8 short 15.
I guess after a ball like that, all you can do is smile. There's nothing else to do because that was absolutely unplayable. That was a peach of a delivery from Andrew Tye. Just landed on the middle stump, bounced, kicked off, a bit of movement as well, a bit of lateral movement. Oh, that was some delivery. Darcy shot, very lucky that he didn't nick it. It's still there on 15 of 23 deliveries. Hanscom on 8 of 7. They just don't know how to get going here. They just didn't. There's no answer for them here to get any sort of momentum. The bowling has been exceptional.
Mitch Marsh off the field. Do we think it was a side injury? Do we think side, possibly?
Yeah, the way he was stretching it looked like something on the side.
Well, that's always a bad thing for a bowler. I mean, you can. It's so difficult. It takes a while to come back from as well. So yeah, he walked off. He didn't hobble off. So it might be an upper body injury rather than a lower body injury. It was his ankle, wasn't it, in the IPL from memory? Here's Aaron Hardy into the attack. The Dorset-born all-rounder. Pushed into the offside by Hanscom, straight to cover, and there is no run. England looking to piece together their side for the Gaul Test match. Very much depends on the pitch, of course. The last series there that England played, they won 3-0. Only 11 of the 111 wickets taken in the series went to seam bowlers. It was spin dominated. Of course, England have got Moeen Ali out of their attack. Hardy bowls, Hanscom scythes, and it goes out towards deep cover, deep backward point. Livingston sends in the return on the bounce to Inglis. Nice bit of fielding, well taken by the keeper. They're back for 2. 29 for 2 in the 8th over. And I saw some quotes yesterday from Chris Silwood saying that, suggesting it's possible that England might go into their reserves. They've got these reserve players out there because of the biosecure bubble. If people are ruled out with COVID, they can bring people in. They've got a bigger squad than normal. They might go into their reserves. Hardy bowls. Dabbed away by Hanscom into the offside, just short of the cover ring. They're through for another run, 30 for 2 in the 8th.
I don't know if they're going to go for reserve, but India definitely need all the reserves they've got for the 4th test. Now Bumrah being out for the 4th test as well, and that's a massive blow now.
Is that being confirmed, is it?
Confirmed that Bumrah is not playing the 4th test.
Wow.
So now I don't know who they're going to call. Wow. They don't have 11 players.
You got your passport ready, Abhishek?
I don't think I would be able to, even if I had the passport. You still got to go into a biosecure bubble, and probably Virat Kohli would have arrived because he's just had a baby girl yesterday. So he said it earlier, if I was allowed to travel without quarantine, I would probably play the last test, but unfortunately he can't. Hardy
bowls to short clips that away through forward square leg, and they're through for just the 1. They were looking at 2 obviously, but they sent back. Well, it's been a brilliant series, fantastic series, it really has. Let's hope the final test in Brisbane gives us a fitting climax to the series. But who's going to be fit for it for India and Australia? Because they've got problems as well at the top of the order with Pukovsky having got that shoulder scan, and then Warner didn't look fit really in the field.
No, not at all.
Hardy goes in to bowl to the right-handed Peter Hanscom, gives himself some room, guides it into the offside, into the shadows, out there at deep cover. Through for another run. We're a very quiet period of the game. It's been quite a quiet start, all told, from the Hobart Hurricanes. 32 for 2 coming to the end of the 8th over, and they've got some decent players out there. Short as a dasher, at 16 from 24 balls. Hanscom 12 from 11. Ben McDermott, the leading run scorer in the competition, out for 2, and David Milan out for 0, caught at mid-wicket. Hardy bowls, short ball, top-edged pull, out towards deep square, attempted running catch by Richardson, couldn't get there, and it's gone for 4 as well. He was lurching away to his right-hand side to try to take the catch. I think it was just away from him, and then once it got away from it, bounced on this firm outfield and went to the boundary. But he was a lucky man there, Darcy short. Could so easily have gone to hand. Was it? It was a fingertip one, wasn't it? Really. I mean, some players might have turned that into a catch. Who was that New Zealander the other day that caught that? Did you see that? Amazing catch. It'll come to me in just a moment. In the whatever it is they call their tournament out there, the Grand Slam or whatever it is. Stunning catch. Anyway, it's 36 for 2 after 8 overs. Full length dive, a bit like that actually, running and then full length dive, one-handed. Fantastic effort.
Yeah, probably sometimes you don't expect that from a very tall, lanky fast bowlers. Probably if it was a batsman or just somebody who's very good at fielding, probably would have gone for that full length dive. But as a fast bowler, I would avoid going for that, because there's always a massive risk of getting injured with those sort of catches when you try and run 20-30 yards and then try and go for the full length drive. We don't often see that from fast bowlers.
No. Right, here's Fawad Ahmed with his leg breaks into the attack. His first ball is on, middle and off. Hanscom gives himself some room and chops it off the stumps to backward point. And they go through for a single.
Now probably is the time when Darcy's shot will unleash. He will try and play those big shots, especially against Fawad Ahmed, where the fast bowlers have kept things really tight. With Ahmed coming in and bringing in that spin option, turning it into Darcy's shot, he'll definitely fancy his chances in that deep mid-wicket or the long-on region, because he's struggled so far. 20 of 25, hardly get going here, Darcy short.
Here is Fawad Ahmed going into bowl to short, and he pulls out of it. Logan van Beek in the super smash in New Zealand. There we go, Abhishek. I'm just going to get up on my phone for you. Is out towards wide long on. Pretty good that, wasn't it? Diving away to his right, full pelt. Here's Ahmed bowling to short. Short nudges it into the onside. And they go through for another run. The throw hits the stumps as an appeal from Fawad Ahmed, but non-striker is back behind the line. Ever caught a catch like that?
I've taken some really good catches in my life, but I'm not sure if I've taken something like that. I've always been a decent fielder. But yeah, that was something special. To run around 30 odd yards and then full length dive one-handed, that's unbelievable. Hanscom
13, short 21. It's 38 for 2. Fawad Ahmed bowl just holds that one back a bit. Oh, got him. Goes to the pull shot, Hanscom, and he's bowled. He's cleaned up. Looking to help that into the leg side. And it's another one, 38 for 3. And they've taken out 3 fine scalps at the top of the Hobart Hurricanes order. McDermott, Milan, and now Hanscom.
That just wasn't the length to pull, and also it was a googly. I don't think Hanscom picked it, or maybe he did but just got done because of the length of the delivery. Wasn't short enough to rock onto the back foot and try and pull it over that mid-wicket region. Now Perth Scorchers are definitely on top, and Hobart Hurricanes struggling big time on 38 for 3 after 8.3. Another experienced cricketer back in the pavilion. They need some sort of partnership also at the same time. They need somebody to play a good hand here who can get runs quickly. Now with Ingram, he's an attacking player. 2 left-handers against a leg spinner, definitely a option here for them to get some quick runs. But Fawad Ahmed, he's bowled pretty well in this year's competition, and again picking up a wicket in his very first over.
Fawad Ahmed's 9th game, he's taken 7 wickets. He's gone at just over 7 runs per over. And as for Colin Ingram, he is the 2nd leading run scorer this season for the Hobart Hurricanes with 240. Behind McDermott, who's gone over the 300 mark now, 301, but only made a 2 today. So Ingram, the 2nd most successful Hurricane this season, leading the score of 55. Comes forward to his first ball to Fawad Ahmed, pushes it out towards extra cover, and there's no run. They put a slip in, but generally speaking, leg spin bowlers prefer to bowl at right-handers rather than left-handers, because the ball is, well, it spins into the left-handers. It does there, and it's turned away by Ingram very well on the sweep for 4. Well, that was an excellent shot to get off the mark. Firm, confident sweep, smacked away to the boundary. 42 for 3. Haven't seen many shots like that so far in this innings. In the 9th over we are.
We've hardly seen any shots in this innings of the Hurricanes so far, but that was a very well played shot. Picked the right length, was outside the off stump, so there was no risk of him getting out LBW, and then timed it to perfection as well there, Ingram.
Ahmed bowls, and that time Ingram defends back down the pitch. Fawad Ahmed picks up, and there's no run, so 6 of his first over and a wicket. and we've had 9 overs, and the Hurricanes are 42 for 3. Ingram on 4 and Short on 21. And often when you see a score like that, often we have a slow, grabby pitch, but that's not the case. There is some pace and bounce. They've not been able to get after the bowlers.
I think a bit too much pace and bounce for the Hobart Hurricane batsmen here at Perth. But again, Perth Scorchers in a very, very good position when they come out to bat to get that bash boost point. They've kept it really tight here. If they have to only chase 47, 48 after the 10th over, I don't think that's going to be any trouble to them. And that 1 point will become very crucial.
Well, it would be the point that could move them above the Hurricanes if they win tonight. Here's Behrendorff into the attack, helped into the leg side by Short towards deep mid-wicket, and they're through for a single. The Perth Scorchers are 3 points behind the Hurricanes, so they would need to take all 4 points this evening to go above them. And you feel, they must be well on course for the 1 point, really. And
absolutely.
Only 5 balls left. They haven't reached 50 yet. Ingram 4, Short 22 with that single. Behrendorff back into the attack for his 3rd over. 1 for 14. And he sets off all in orange bowls there to the purple suited Ingram, who forces that away into the offside, and it's picked up in the deep by Cameron Bancroft, and they are through for a single. 44 for 3.
Yeah, the Scorchers feel very much at home whenever they're playing at Perth, isn't it? That's how you make a team, that's how you select your players. They're very fast bowling heavy, and probably that's the reason they pick those fast bowlers who can bowl that hard length. They bowl with some pace as well. Makes it really difficult for the batsman to get away.
Behrendorff bowls Short, pulled away by Short and into the shadows out towards deep square leg. It's only a single again. 45 for 3 in the 10th over. And in Melbourne Renegades, they've had a lot of their success on that, I mentioned, slow grabby pitch in the Docklands Stadium. It's called the Marvel Stadium now, after the sponsor with the roof on.
Yep.
And they were just waiting to get back home, and they've been told they can't play there now.
Yeah,
they've had a tough old season. Here's Behrendorff bowling to Ingram, who edges it. Oh, wide of English, diving away to his left. It would have been a straightforward catch for a first slip. There was no first slip at home, and Ingram gets a streaky boundary. It was a nice catchable height. Too much for English. It was a genuine edge as well. It just went so quickly. He couldn't get his glove across in time.
It was a great effort.
Yeah.
He did dive all the way to his left, but the ball flew. Was very, very quick. And the third man, though, was very fine as well. Had no chance to cut that off. Very good delivery from Behrendorff. Very lucky Ingram on 9 of 5 now.
Behrendorff bowls to Ingram. Ingram tries to pull it, struck on the pad. A shout for LBW. That has got to be so optimist. Come on, Jason, you played enough cricket at Perth to know you're not going to get that LBW. It was straight, but going over the top.
I think on a pitch like this, it's very difficult to get an LBW even on the front foot. Forget about back foot, because you always get that extra bit of bounce. So umpires are always a bit wary about giving that LBW unless it's under your knee roll and it's pretty straight as well. So yeah, not the best of appeals from Behrendorff.
Behrendorff bowls Short, and Ingram goes to the pull shot. It goes very quickly down towards fine leg. Again, picks out the field. There's been a lot of that. The aggressive shots that have been played have often picked out the fielder. So there we go, the halfway mark of the Hobart Hurricanes innings, and the backup staff come onto the field with drinks, and the coaches come out. It's 50 for 3 after 10 overs. Ingram on 10, Short on 23. Of course, it's possible with players of that calibre to have a real burst in the last 10 overs, but the Perth Scorchers will be extremely happy with how the game's gone so far.
Oh, 100%. Perth Scorchers is at the moment halfway mark. They're definitely winning the battle. But with Hobart Hurricane, with the batting they have, if they can get to that 150 mark, somehow they can get 100 runs in the next 10 overs, then I think it will be a good game. Yes, they might not win the bash boost point because they're quite short after the 10 overs, but at the end of the day, you've got to look at the bigger picture. You want to win the game. Even if you lose that 1 point, there's still 3 points to be earned here. So from Hobart Hurricanes' point of view, they need to find an answer to get to that 140, 145, 150 and give their bowlers some sort of chance to come back into this game here, Simon.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks very much, Abhishek. have a break. Stefan Schelmelt is going to pick up the commentary in just a moment once the action resumes after the break. Just a reminder that we have ball-by-ball commentary on the first test between Sri Lanka and England in Gaul, starting on Thursday morning. We're on air at 4:15. It's a 4:30 start, ball-by-ball commentary right throughout the day and the test match and the second game as well. Also, India against Australia is starting later in the week, and we'll bring you ball-by-ball commentary on that as well. So much cricket to look forward to in the next few days. Exciting cricket as well. Very contrasting cricket, you'd imagine, with the spin-friendly conditions in Gaul and the bouncy pitch at the Gabba. Of course, Australia normally play there first. They like to start the series there. Their record there is tremendous, so they'll be feeling reasonably confident going into those conditions. But I suppose India, at least they've had 3 test matches to prepare for the Gabbatoir. Australia-India commentary. That will run from midnight on 5 Live Sports Extra until 4:15, and then will be available online. The England commentary will go on to 5 Live Sports Extra and the BBC Sounds app and the BBC Sport website as well, so plenty of choice for you. Here is Ty moving in to bowl to the left-handed Ingram. I'll just do this first ball, and Stefan can pick up the commentary. It's nudged into the onside, and there is no run. All yours, Stefan.
I think we've had power surge time as well, Simon. The umpire's just waved his arms, as he does. Right arm, then left. To all parts of the ground. That was a dot ball that Ingram just pushed back towards Ty. So even though the fielding restrictions are in place, more of the same really for the Hobart Hurricanes. Looking to jolt their innings into life in the power surge as Ty bowls to Ingram. That's a full ball on leg stump. It's hit the pad. Pretty optimistic appeal as the ball trickles towards short fine leg. And there's still no run. Score remains 50 for 3. Actually, they took a leg by, 51 for 3. Just to pick up on that point, Simon, about the 2 test matches that are coming up later this week, both on 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app, from Friday night at midnight, or Friday morning at midnight, I should say. It'll be around 12 hours uninterrupted test match cricket on the various BBC channels, one rolling into the other. It's Ty bowls to short. It's a short delivery. Short aims a hook shot, gets absolutely nothing on it. We've seen that so often, so regularly this evening. The Scorchers using the bouncer to excellent effect. And to your point, Simon, about how they struggled on the road, but they've done well at home. This is their last home match. The last opportunity to exploit the conditions at the Optus Stadium. Ty's got the black towel poking out the back of his trousers. He bowls to short. This time the left-hander does make contact, swatting the ball past mid-on. He'll pick up a boundary because there's just that one fielder out there on the leg side boundary during the power surge. Much needed boundary for the Hurricanes. They move on to 55 for 3.
Well, that's the best of Darcy Short. He's not had a great competition. I mean, they rely on him so much. The Hurricanes at the top of the order, only averaging 15. Strike rate 123 this year. Down on runs, 141.
We've also had confirmation of the X-Factor substitute as Ty bowls to Short, who goes down the ground, 1 bounce 4. He gave himself some room there, Darcy Short, cleared the front leg. Just for a moment, it didn't look wasn't clear what sort of connection he'd made and if mid-off might have been in the game. But really, the ball had sailed over the infield and skipped away to the boundary. 59 for 3.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, on the X Factor, because Mitch Marsh went off injured, and actually that's a great opportunity to change a player. But one thing I would say with Marsh is that if he were able to bat, he's so destructive.
Ty to complete the over. Down the leg side, Short's going to get 4 more here. 4 somethings. I don't know if it's come off bat or thigh pad. I think the umpire's just raising a leg to signal leg byes. But too far down the leg side from Andrew Ty, and Short needed just to get anything on it. A bit of trouser pocket, and he would have skipped away to the boundary. So decent start to the power surge for the Hurricanes with those 3 consecutive boundaries at the end of the 11th over. They're 63 for 3. Darcy Short 31 from 32. Ingram 10 from 9, and it's Curtis Patterson that's replaced Mitchell Marsh.
Yeah, You think you'd be loath to take Mitchell Marsh out of the team. You can totally understand why they've done it. I mean, that's batsman for batsman, isn't it? Curtis Patterson coming in. I suppose you don't want to make the injury worse, but the medical staff will have assessed the extent of it. So it's perfectly understandable, but it's a blow to lose Marsh in the batting lineup.
Jai Richardson in the power surge starts with a slower ball, which Ingram deflects just behind square on the leg side for a single. 64 for 3. You say batsman for a batsman, Simon, because they do have bowling options, the Scorchers. We saw that Aaron Hardy was able to come into the attack. Ashton Turner completed Mitchell Marsh's over. Hardy, the all-rounder, he'll probably have to bowl a couple more. Still Fawad Ahmed, the leg spinner, to bowl 3 more. So they've effectively gone to just replace Marsh's batting in the shape of Curtis Patterson. As Jai Richardson bowls round the wicket to the left-handed Darcy Short, flicked or deflected towards short fine leg. The throw hits direct, but they're already comfortably home for a single. 65 for 3. Perth Scorchers' other option was Joel Parris, the seam bowler. I suppose that's a dilemma, isn't it, when your all-rounder gets injured? Which way do you go? Do you replace his batting or his bowling if you haven't got an all-round option on the bench?
Yeah. I suppose that's what you've got to weigh up when you select your X-factor players. I think it's the first time we've seen a player substituted because of an injury. It's been tactical. It hasn't happened very often, though.
Jai Richardson stomps into Ingram. Yorker that Ingram deflects towards short third man. There's a misfield, but because the batsman hadn't set off, they can't take advantage. So dot ball. Jai Richardson, excellent figures. 1 for 4 from 2.3 overs. Absolutely miserly. It's been superb.
Yeah, it's very good. Leading wicket taker now in this season's Big Bash. He's gone past Wes Agar. He's actually played 10 matches. I think Richardson likes bowling here. It'll be sad to get on the plane to go back to the east.
Angled approach from Richardson into Ingram. Short ball, hooking powerfully past the man at long leg. With Liam Livingston out there. To be honest, the attempt at a sliding stop wasn't wholehearted. Almost looked like a man who didn't really want to get his trousers dirty, and the ball skipped away to the boundary. Hurricanes 69 for 3.
Well, what we're seeing here is the surge working for the Hurricanes. Something had to change, didn't it, really? 50 after 10 overs. Perth Scorchers, a decent batting lineup in their home conditions. They really needed to get on with it. They took the surge straight away, took the positive option. It's working for them at the moment.
Richardson again, bowls to Ingram. Another slower ball that Ingram doesn't time, but still manages to find a wide expanse in the onside. Sweeper comes off the rope. That's Andrew Tye, single taken. 70 for 3 with 1 delivery of power surge remaining.
So 20 so far off 1.5 overs, and they haven't lost a wicket. We've seen teams take the surge and feel they have to get on with it and lose wickets. That's what's actually made it quite interesting, how teams play it and what they feel they have to do.
Richardson round the wicket to complete the surge. Short lofting down the ground. He's going to pick up 4. He gave himself room outside the leg stump. It was a full delivery from Richardson, but he didn't quite nail the Yorker. And as you know, when the Yorker doesn't quite hit the spot, a batsman can get underneath it and find the boundary, which Short did. Straight back past the bowler. End of the power surge, 12 overs completed. Hobart Hurricanes 74 for 3. Darcy Short has 36 from 34. And Colin Ingram 16 from 13.
So 24 off the 2 overs of power surge. And the key for the Hurricanes was 2 things. One is that they felt they had to get on with it, they had to do something, and they took the positive option. The other point is, of course, they had 2 players in who were perfectly capable of taking advantage of a power play restrictions. Ingram and Short, both exciting, dynamic players, both left-handers, able to get on with it. And Short, well, I don't want to put a curse on him, but he's just beginning to find his range now. And leg spinner against the 2 left-handers.
Fawad Ahmed bowls his second over. Ingram reverse sweeps to short third man. No run taken. It's Jai Richardson in the black cap that denotes that he's the leading wicket taker doing the fielding. Fawad Ahmed's probably going to have to bowl 3 of the last 8 here. But a loopy action. Ingram again reverse sweeping, fetching it, this one from outside the leg stump. Yes, Liam Livingston at deep backward point, single taken. 75 for 3.
Feels as if we're at quite an important moment in the game. Can these two keep going? Another wicket and the Perth Scorchers right on top. In the balance now.
This time Short's down the track, leading edge, but he bounces short of the short mid-wicket fielder. Relative calm inside the Optus Stadium. As we've said, only a smattering of spectators in what's a very vast ground. It's almost like calm descends as the ball's bowled. You just heard the ooze as the ball dropped short of the fielder. Ahmed creeps in again. This is down the leg side. Darcy Short pulls straight to the short fine leg fielder. That would have been a boundary if it'd been a yard, 2 yards either side, but it's straight at him.
It's only 5:10 in the afternoon now. That's the problem really for the Perth Scorchers, in the way they have to start early. People still at work.
Ahmed bowls. Short carefully back onto his stumps, nudging into the onside for a single. 76 for 3. It's tricky for the Scorchers when they're starting these afternoon games in midweek to attract the big crowds, and also, as we've said, they've had to sort of cram in a lot of home games in a short space of time. They normally wouldn't have to do this.
So it doesn't become a special event, is what you're saying?
Well, and also they probably have more chance to play them at the weekend to fit in this afternoon time slot. Ahmed bowls. Ingram drives up to short extra cover, straight to the fielder. So that's an excellent over from Fawad Ahmed. Only 3 singles from it, 13 gone. Hobart Hurricanes 76 for 3, Darcy Short 37, Colin Ingram 17. Simon, earlier on you were about to launch in about the various runs around the Swan River.
Is it 3? I can't remember. Is it 3 bridges or 2 bridges? There's a few bridges. I know there's a lot of kilometres.
Yeah, I think it's 3. I think I got a bit carried away when I said there might have been 4, but I was deferring to you because you're a man who's, I think, trodden those paths much more regularly than I have. You're an accomplished runner, Simon. I just dabble.
That's a lovely way of spending an early morning or a late evening. Yeah, I don't think you want to do it in the middle of the day in Perth. Temperatures get up to about 35 degrees, 40 degrees. There'll be some tough people out there saying, no, that's no trouble at all. I don't mind that, but it's probably best to go when it's a fraction cooler.
Aaron Hardy's back into the attack. Medium pacer, probably bowling more overs than he normally would have done because of the injury to Mitchell Marsh. Taken 5 wickets so far this season in the Big Bash League. Despite the fact it's bright afternoon sunshine, the floodlights that go all around the top of the Optus Stadium have been flashing. As Hardy, the man born in Bournemouth, comes round the wicket to Darcy Short, who clips towards long leg. There's work for the fielder to do. Jai Richardson slides, throws the ball to Liam Livingston, the deep square leg, who helps him out. A couple taken. Score moves on to 78 for 3. Simon, the 2 stadiums, the WACA and the Optus Stadium, they're on opposite sides of the Swan River. How long do you reckon it'd take to walk between the 2?
Well, if you could walk across the water, it'd take about 10 minutes, wouldn't it? But to get round is a bit longer, perhaps 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour, something like that. It's a bit longer than you think.
Not something you necessarily want to tackle in the middle of the day either, considering how warm it gets in Perth. Hardy to Short, follows him as Short makes some room down the leg side. Short clips down towards long leg. Jai Richardson's busy down there, 79 for 3.
It's a beautiful part of the world, there's Swan River. It's a lovely setting for a city, and the climate as well. Warm and sort of dry heat, not that humid heat you can get in some places that can be sapping.
Thing about the Swan River as well, let's pick up that point after this next delivery from Hardy, which is miles down the leg side. Wild delivery, rightly called wide. Score moves on to 80 for 3. On the side of the Swan River where the new Optus Stadium is, there isn't as much as the other side, because that's where the city is. It's very busy and lots of buildings rising high into the sky. And the Optus Stadium, there's almost nothing around it. It looks like it's been dropped in a bit like a spaceship. Hardy tries again. Ingram works the ball off his pads out towards the deep square leg fielder. 1 taken, 81 for 3. And then the WACA on the other side, it's probably got the most iconic floodlights, I'd say, in any cricket ground in the world. You must see those floodlights and you know they're from the WACA. Just think World Series cricket. Hardy to Short to get it down the leg side. Top edge from Short. This has gone straight up over the wicket keeper for I think it's gone for 6. I think that's landed exactly on the boundary rope. They'll have to take another look at it. Aaron Hardy's shaking his head because he knows he's not quite getting it right in this over. Often straying too far down the leg side to the left-handers. Touch too short as well. This time Darcy Short was able to just about get underneath it with a top edge that bounced just inside the rope. So it's gone for 4, 85 for 3.
That was such a Perth shot, that. It flew away off a thick top edge.
Hardy again. Again it's angled in to the hip of the left-handed Darcy Short. Nudges it into the onside for a single. 86 for 3. Short up to 45 from 41. As we said earlier, he'd struggled so far in the Big Bash. 141 runs in 9 innings, and that included a 72. So this is his second major contribution, really. Hardy in the Perth orange. This time Ingram backs off, swipes into the offside, high in the air, and catch is taken by the fielder running back from the edge of the 30-yard circle. Aaron Hardy breathes a sigh of relief. Colin Ingram goes for 18, and just as the Hobart Hurricanes were building some momentum, they lose their 4th wicket. They are 86 for 4 at the end of the 14th over.
Yeah, didn't quite get all of that, and it was a straightforward catch out towards deep cover. There are actually 2 fielders there waiting to get underneath it, and a vital blow struck. It was Curtis Patterson, the sub-fielder for Mitch Marsh. I say sub-fielder, actually the X-Factor fielder. They've replaced him. We have seen fielders come on, be subs and not be the X-Factor player either. They're just out there fielding, but he is actually the direct replacement than Patterson for a significant intervention in the game. It snuffs out that partnership that was, well, it took the score from 38 for 3 to 86 for 4, and Ingram a runner ball. It's actually Darcy Short at the other end is beginning to find his range. He's got the Hobart Hurricanes going here, and number 6 is Tim David, the tall middle order player who's played lots of one-day international, lots of white ball cricket for Singapore, where he was born.
Not just tall, Simon, he's muscular as well. Really massive man. He's a former Scorchers player, Tim David. He's also played some club cricket in England for South Shields and East Lancashire. So he spent his time in the north of England. He'll be on strike to Fawad Ahmed at the beginning of the 15th over. Ahmed, who's bowled 2, figures of 1 for 8. There's a slip in place for the new batsman as Fawad Ahmed bowls wide of the off stump. Tim David drives, crowd catch. Straight into the ground to the man at short cover. Ahmed throws himself a catch right hand to left. Then he bowls to Tim David, who crabs across his stumps and nudges the ball into the onside for a single. 87 for 4.
It's noticeable they put a slip in for the new man. Even in the 15th over, still looking for wickets. The importance of getting these wickets. Short and David. You look at what's to come. Mitch Owen on debut. Ellis, Boland, Meredith and Lamashane for the Hurricanes.
Darcy Short, the left-hander, waits for Fawad Ahmed down the leg side. Short misses with a sweep, but the ball is called wide. Score moves on to 88 for 4. We have lingered on Darcy Short's lack of runs in this year's Big Bash League, or at least lack of runs compared to what you'd expect from him. Fawad Ahmed bowls to Darcy Short, who goes back and forces up towards long off for a single. 89 for 4. But he did score 100 the last time he played against the Scorchers.
Come on, lads. One last shot in the debutant.
Here he is, finding some form against them today. 46 off 42 is Darcy Short. Fawad Ahmed, with a beard around his chops, throws the white ball right hand to left. Number 52 creeping into David, who again nudges the ball on the onside. They think about a single. Darcy Short sent back, has to dive for his ground. When the throw comes in, it hits Short on the back, and he throws a rather accusing glance at the fielder. Well, it's the fielder's fault. He's got every right to throw at the stumps. Ooze inside the stadium. That would have been painful for Darcy Short.
Yeah, perfectly legitimate to throw at the stumps there. Short was down the pitch, and if you can get Short out at this stage, that would be a huge blow struck.
Ahmed bowls outside the off stump. Tim David cuts and misses. So 1 run from 4 deliveries so far from Tim David. And like we said, the Hobart Hurricanes were building momentum, but then the fall of the wicket and the new man just taking a moment to get going. Ahmed bowls again. David hit on the pad. No thought of an appeal because that looked high and leggy. End of the 15th over. Hobart Hurricanes 89 for 4. Perth Scorchers keeping that tight grip on the visitors, even though Darcy Short has 46 from 42 deliveries. Tim David has 1 from 5, and as you might have heard on the stump mic during that over, Josh Inglis, the wicketkeeper, he was reminding the Hurricanes that they're only 1 wicket away from Mitchell Owen, the 19-year-old debutant, coming to the crease. 5 overs remaining then. The Hobart Hurricanes are 89 for 4 after winning the toss. Simon Mann is going to be joined by Abhishek Junjunwala.
And you mentioned Fawad Ahmed had to bowl 3 of the last 8 overs. Well, he's bowled 2 of them. He's been excellent. 3 overs, 1 for 11. It's no bad thing that he's still got an over to bowl. 89 for 4. Of course, Short might have a say in that. He's on strike at the moment. And a new over about to begin. David just 1 off 5. Hardy goes in and bowls round the wicket to Short. He's struck on the pad. Shadows beginning to creep towards the pitch now, and Short's hustling back for the second as the ball comes out of the shadows on the onside. It's a rather sloppy piece of fielding and a sloppy piece of keeping as well, probably not helped by the fact the ball was a bit wide and might land one of those wicket ends. So back for 2 there. Short's onto 48. It's 91 for 4. Start of the 16th over. This is the Hobart Hurricanes against the Perth Scorchers. Big Bash commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra, BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. And Perth Scorchers looking to go above the Hurricanes in the table if they win today. Hardy goes in, bowls, follows the batsman. Short goes leg side, so does Hardy, and it's clipped away by Short down to Livingston on the deep backwards square leg boundary. 1 more to the total. Short goes to 49. I wonder whether we're going to see Jason Roy unfurl some shots today. He's not had an easy time of it so far. He's been a really frustrated player, thrashing around, and it hasn't come right for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has a half-decent season. He's got a start in pretty much every game. He's got 3 over 20s, 149, and then last game he got 14. So he's definitely in touch. It's not that he's out of form completely, but he's just got to have that one big knock.
Hardy goes into the right-handed David. David comes forward and plays defensively, really. Or perhaps he was just trying to manoeuvre it into gap on the offside, hit it straight at extra cover, and there is no run. And no Mitch Marsh now in the Perth Scorchers lineup, which is significant. The last time I saw the Scorchers play, Marsh played a magnificent innings, came out and bashed 57, not out in no time at all, helped them win the game. Curtis Patterson has replaced Marsh, who is off injured. Hardy bowls, full. David drives firmly, but straight back to the bowler, who dives away to his left-hand side and stops it. And there is no run. And again, that pressure building on the Hurricanes. 92 for 4. Hardy jogging back to his mark. I'm just looking at the clock. Are they under time pressure?
I think David is making a bit life a bit difficult for Short as well, putting a lot of pressure on Darcy Short.
Hardy bowls full, driven into the offside, stopped at extra cover. They nick a single though, because the fielder diving away to his left had to get back to his feet. Again, Hardy running back to his mark. What is it? They've been out there for 1 hour and 8 minutes now. 4 overs to bowl after this one. Yeah. I've seen slower innings, I have to say. The over rate's not too bad. I've seen slower innings in the IPL, certainly. Short on 49. Hardy goes in and bowls full. That's hit back over the bowler's head. Lovely, sweet, uppish off drive from Short. Brings him 50. 4 runs. He's on 53 from 45 balls. It's 97 for 4 after 16 overs.
Yeah, that's just magnificent. The way he played that shot just over the bowler's head, though it was in the slot, was a half volley, but kept his shape nicely. Just the extension of the arms. Very well played shot, bringing his 50 in a great fashion here, Darcy Short. Yes, it's not as free-flowing as we would expect from Darcy Short, but still he needed to be there to give any sort of a chance for the Hurricanes when they come out to bowl. 53 or 45, 4 overs to go. If they can get another 45-50, at least there will be something for the Hurricane bowlers when they come out to bowl.
Yeah, you feel he's so important to their chances, Darcy Short. If he bats the last 4 overs, he's on strike for most of them, and they can get up around 150. If they get him out, and you wonder about that ultimate Hurricanes score.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the over where either they're going to get a few runs or Fahad Ahmed have an opportunity to pick up Darcy's shot, because he definitely looked to eye to play some big shots, especially against the last over from a spinner.
But now it's David who's on strike. 2 from 8 balls. Pressure on him. Ahmed bowls. David guides it. Well, I think he was setting himself the big shot there. It wasn't quite there, so he ended up poking it away into the offside. He went straight back to the bowler. So that's 2 off 9 for David now. Something's going to give here, surely.
He needs to be smart. Just get a single. Go to the non-striker.
Here's Fahad bowling. Oh no, he goes to the big blow down the ground. Out towards long on. He's got it. He's hit it over the long on boundary. Well, there were 2 options to him: go for it or nudge a single to get short back on strike. But he just said, "No, I've got to do something here. I've just got to change the momentum of my innings." And he muscled it down the ground. There's just loads of bottom hand in that.
A lot of bottom hand. Very well played though, because the ball was not on the offside. He made a bit of room outside the leg stump, got to the pitch of the delivery, and then he hit it hard, didn't he? But that will give him a lot of confidence, take a lot of pressure off him and Darcy Short, because for some time Short has been feeling that he's got to be the one scoring the majority of the runs. But with David, with a few lusty blows, could change things a little bit for Darcy Short as well.
First 6 of the innings, hundreds up, 103 for 4, and the 17th, David goes to the leg side, tries to smash that away square with the wicket, but there are 2 men behind square on the offside. He picks out one of them, and there's no run.
Hit a 6, get a single, go to the other end. We've been taught that when we were young.
Here is Ahmed bowling. He's shot outside the off stump. It's a toe ender, but again he's muscled it and he's hit it for 6. He's hit that for 6 as well. Again, that was power. He's a big man. We've been talking about it, tall and muscular, and it was a bit wide and a bit short, and he sort of lifted it. Yeah, off the back foot over the long off boundary.
He's got a different theory. Hit a 6, play a dot, hit a 6 again. That's what he believes in, David. But as long as he can do it, David, it's fine. It's working for him, working for the team. Darcy Short wouldn't mind standing on the non-striker and watching his partner hit a few 6s.
109 for 4. 2 balls left to Fahad Ahmed's spell. This one tucks him up. He slices it straight to fine short third man. No run. It's 6 or dot, isn't it, in this over just about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can definitely expect another 6 here. That's been the way he's played so far.
Forward bowls, he gives himself some room, swipes it into the offside. And he was looking to muscle it away, but he couldn't manoeuvre the ball sufficiently this time. It's a single, so Darcy Short doesn't face in that over. He's kept him off strike, and he's not going to be facing the start of the next over as well. But David, okay, fair enough to him in that over. There were 13 runs off it, 2 6 in a single, 110 for 4, 13 off the last 3, 39. That would get them up to 150. So fair enough, David there, although Short is the man who is hitting it relatively sweetly. 53 from 45 balls, but 110 for 4 with 3 overs left.
I think they need one big over. They need an over where they can get 18, 20, maybe even more if they can, and that will change the whole course of the game. If they can get to the 150 mark, I genuinely feel that the pitch has enough for the bowlers for them to put pressure on the Scorchers. Yes, Scorchers are a very batting heavy side. They've got the likes of Jason Roy, Livingstone. Munro is not playing. That's a massive blow for them, because he's got last 3 innings he has played. He's got 15 each innings. So that'll be a big blow for the Scorchers.
Here is Hardy bowling to David, who turns that away backward a square. Between 2 fielders on the leg side boundary, comes back for the second. There's an email from Andy Holden. He says, loved hearing you extolling the virtues of running in Perth. It reminded us of getting completely lost in Kings Park. Well, that sort of high area near the Swan River. Hardy goes in, bowls to David, who drives powerfully into the offside, past extra cover, out towards the deep cover boundary. Only a single this time.
And finally, Darcy Short gets to play a delivery here. He's been either hitting 6s or taking double here, David. But Darcy Short must be itching to hit a few big shots here. He's set now, 53 or 45 deliveries. He's played pretty well. It's not been easy out there for the batsmen, and the bowling has been exceptional from the Scorchers. So Darcy Short to Hardy's going to bowl to Darcy Short now.
Hardy goes in and bowls to Short, swings it away on the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket. Has he picked out the fielder though? Yes, he has. It's only a single. Anyway, Andrew continues. Anyway, we were out for a good couple of hours, temperature climbing all the time. He says probably the most spectacular run we've ever had was about 6 in the morning in Bunbury, which is a bit further down the coast. Beautiful dawn, and we ran along the harbour side, kept company by a dolphin that kept pace with us all the way. Stunning, he says. Well, yeah, it's those lovely images of being in the warm sunshine. Beguiling. Here is Hardy going into bowl to David. He turns that into the onside for a single. They look for 2 just outside the circle. They were looking for it, but it wasn't there. Fielder rushing in from deep mid-wicket, sent it into Hardy's end, the non-striker's end. So they had to settle for 1. 115 for 4. 17.4 overs. David on 19 now. Short there on 54. Hasn't faced much since reaching his half century.
It's been a good over so far.
Hardy bowls, and short goes high into the offside. Is this going to be caught? It is. He miscued it. He was looking for the long off boundary, looking to hit over it, but he hit it high in the air, and Curtis Patterson came in and took the catch, and Short's really frustrated with himself. He had just lost the strike since reaching his half century. He was deep in his crease, trying to muscle it into the offside with long off up inside the circle, but he could not clear the field, and he's really angry. He's sort of banging his bat with his hand as he walks off.
The ball was in the slot, to be fair to Darcy's shot, but just at the point of contact his body weight was completely leaning back, lost the shape as well. Rather than just keeping it balanced and just getting it weight through the shot, he just leaned back a bit too much. Probably that's the reason he just scooped it straight up in the air. But nevertheless, he played a decent hand for his side, 54-47, but Hardy again bowling got away with that. I would say it was lucky for Hardy because that ball was in the slot, should have been put away with the mid-on and mid-off fielder being inside the 30-yard circle. It was there, definitely there for Darcy Short, but nevertheless, 5th wicket down for the Hurricanes, 115 on board, and Mitchell Owen walks into the middle.
Yeah, he's on debut. He's 19 years of age. He's played some second team cricket for Tasmania. Here's Hardy bowling to David, who swings that away for 4. It was a low pull, and he hit it really well. Came right out of the middle of the bat, and he struggled to get going at the start, but in the last 5 or 6 balls, he's hitting it well. So 119 for 5 with 2 overs to go. So somewhere in the region of 140 for the Hurricanes. Well, that will be enough on this Perth surface. Remains to be seen. The Perth Scorchers batting lineup: Roy and Livingston, Bancroft, Inglis, Curtis Patterson now with Marsh out injured and replaced the X-Factor player. Ashton Turner, the captain at 6. Aaron Hardy. Turner, who's played I think the most remarkable shot I've seen this season's Big Bash so far. Were you with me for that, Abhishek? I can't remember the little ramp shot where he fell over, but he still hit it before. He fell over to his right hand side. He ended up on the ground, but still managed to get a full ball over fine leg. It bounced just inside the rope. Extraordinary how you can play a shot like that and end up on your side in the dust. Ty goes in, bowls to Owen, his first ball this season's Big Bash. He drives it away into the offside. It's a nice shot out towards deep cover. His Bancroft is there. It's only a single though, but he's done the job that Abhishek would have liked him to have done, was just get off strike and get the man who's in on strike.
But it's always a great feeling to play your first game, to make a debut in any format. Could it be club cricket when you play your first game for the first team, or it could be first class international cricket, these leagues around the world. It's always special as a player, and those moments you cherish for the rest of your life. It'll be a huge moment for Owen when he hit that first run of the bat in the Big Bash. He'll remember that for the rest of his life, but at the moment he should just enjoy the occasion, just have fun out there.
Ty bowls to Davis, a full toss on his hip. She turns into the onside. It wasn't far away from being above waist height, just about low enough, and they come back for 2 runs.
Yeah, I guess a lot of times when even if it's like a beamer for somebody who's not that tall, it'll probably be a waist height delivery for somebody like David, who's so tall.
Yeah. So
it's very difficult for a bowler to bowl him anything around that chest height. It's got to be a real bad delivery.
Here is Ty bowling a pace-off delivery. Oh, Owen's a long way down. Ty dives towards the mid-wicket area, short mid-wicket area, and flicks the ball back just in the hope that he would catch the batsman out of his ground. When he hit the stumps, he'd been well out, but it was a real punt because he wasn't looking at the stumps. It was a bit of sleight of hand really from Andrew Tye with a back flick. He had time there, I think, to get to his feet and then hurl the ball at the stumps to the non-striker's end, but he tried something spectacular and fancy and it didn't come off. No run though.
Yeah, very well bowled again. Back of the hand, a slow delivery, completely didn't read it, David.
Tye bowls to David, another slower ball. David waits this time, forces it into the offside. It's only a single though, out towards deep cover. This is a good over so far from Andrew Tye.
Yeah, he will be under a bit of a pressure here, Owen. He would look to get some boundaries for his side, a debut game for him. He'll love to. You always want to make a point, prove a point as a newcomer, as a debutant. But definitely checking where the fields are, working on his game plan. But so far Andrew Tye has been very good in this over.
Owen waits, Tye goes in to bowl to him. It's short, it's swatted away. It's a good looking shot out towards the extra cover boundary. It's gone for 4. He set that really cleanly. Fielder out there on the deep cover boundary, sprinting round, diving away to his right hand side, but that came right out of the middle of the bat. And he's faced 2 balls so far. He's timed both of them, and that was a magnificent shot really. Owen goes to 5 and it's 127 for 5. The confidence of talent of youth.
Absolutely, and that wasn't an easy shot, Simon, just because of the pace of the delivery, the height it was at, just to generate that power on the back foot through covers.
Tye bowls and he guides that away again into the offside, again times it, but hits it straight at deep cover. Bancroft is there, so it's only a single, but he's played very confidently so far. He's timed all 3 balls that he's faced. He goes to 6 and he keeps the bowling for the last over, the start of the last over anyway. 128 for 5 with 1 to go. Yeah,
he's looked good so far, whatever we have seen little of him, of 3 deliveries. He's timed pretty much every delivery, hit a boundary in those 3 balls as well, and that was a terrific shot. Again, I'll go back to that. It was not an easy shot to play. The ball was at a decent height, was quite high to generate that sort of a power on the back foot through that cover region. There was a deep cover fielder, but he still managed to pierce that gap between that extra cover and the deep cover fielder. Good start for his career. He's looking good so far, Owen. Last over, what can they do? Can they get another 15-20 here? That'll be perfect to get that momentum back into the dressing room before they come out to bowl. But I think Scorchers, if you ask them, they'd be pretty happy what they have achieved so far in this game.
Yeah, we always need to see both sides bat, but this feels like it's Scorchers' game at the moment. 128 for 5 with 1 over left. Richardson to bowl it, the leading wicket taker in the competition. Bowls to Owen, it's wide, he tries to drive it, it's very full as well, so they bowled short at him and he's hit the ball away well on the offside. That one was right up in the block hole, one of those wide Yorkers, and he could not get the bat on it. So a dot ball to start the over. Richardson is hustling back to his mark. I think we're okay in terms of time.
He's been hustling like that since the first over. He's always in a bit of a rush to go back to his mark and come out and bowl the second delivery. We don't see that often with the fast bowlers. Yes, with spinners we do.
Richardson goes into bowl to the right-handed Owen. It's a bit shorter and it's swatted into the leg side. That's gone before as well. He's hit that really well. To improvise, muscled it away, hit it wide of long on, and he's 10 from 5 on his debut, the 19-year-old.
Oh, that was a powerful shot again. It was a very well-directed bouncer from Andrew Tye, but to generate that power again, we spoke about it earlier, he can generate a lot of power from that back foot position, and that was hardly 5 or 10 yards away from the fielder at long on. Didn't get any opportunity to move. A lovely shot, Owen.
Yeah, brilliant shot. Here is Richardson going into bowl to Owen. It's full outside the off stump. It's dragged up towards long on. Will only be a single this time, or should be. It is. Fielder comes in and sends in the return to Inglis at the far end. So Owen is 11 from 6. And the same thing's happened to David as happened to Darcy Short. They got going and lost the strike, but Owen has compensated for it.
I think he's done pretty well playing his first ever Big Bash match. 11 of 6 deliveries. Never easy to come in these sort of 17, 18 overs and start hitting the ball from the very first delivery. Start hitting those big shots. Yes, people expect it from you, but it's not easy as a cricketer.
3 balls left in the innings. Richardson goes in, bowls to Davids, full outside the off stump, thrashed away for 4. That was in the slot. He got it wrong there that time, Richardson. It was a low full toss in his swinging arc, and David stood there and smashed it through extra cover. Takes him to 30.
That was just power. From the time he hit it, you knew that no one's catching that. He hit it hard. It went for that Yorker, low full toss, but what a shot from David.
It was one of those, even if there had been a deep extra cover, I'm not sure he'd have got it. It was hit that hard.
Absolutely.
It didn't take long to get to the boundary. 137 for 5, 2 balls left in the innings. Richardson 1 for 22, so respectable figures, though he's being smacked around a little bit in the last over. Richardson goes in, bowls to Davis, slower ball, very wide, he has to reach for it and can't get the power in the shot. That was well bowled, and it's picked up at extra cover, and they go through for a single. 138 for 5 with 1 ball left of the innings. David is 31 not out, so after a slow start he's done a reasonable job for his team. He was 2 off 9 at one stage, and then managed to get going. A couple of sixes against Fawad Ahmed.
Though they're nowhere close to a decent total, but I still think from the position they were in, they would be somewhere happy and content with that total. Now the job is with the bowlers. They've got to come out, the Hurricane bowlers, and do a job for the side, win the game for the side with bowling.
Richardson bowls to Owen, it's wide, he swings, misses, they run through for a bye, the ball is hurled at the stumps at the striker's end. It runs all the way through past the non-striker's end as well. It has to be picked up by Ty coming in from the long-on boundary, but they just get the 1 in the end. 1 bye. So it's 139 for 5. Owen finishes on his debut, the 19-year-old, 11 from 7 balls. David is 31 not out. It's a very strange looking score, really, isn't it? 139 for 5. But whether it's going to be enough, you feel not, but we've seen enough T20 cricket to know that all sorts of things can happen in the second innings.
It's very hard to call unless you've seen both teams bat. Yet the pitch does look really, really good. The ball's coming onto the bat. There's no real demons in the pitch as well. So I think it should be fairly easy when the Scorchers come into bat with the firepower they have in their batting order. A lot of batting as well. They bat deep, though they've missed 2 important players tonight. Colin Munro is out, and so is Mitch Marsh. Both were in very good form, but still you feel they have enough in their dugout to come out there and chase okay total of 140. But again, we've got to wait and watch how the Hurricanes come out and bowl. But it looks like it's going to be one of those games where Scorchers will end up coming ahead of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, and if they do get the 4 points, 1 for getting 51 after 10 overs and the 3 for getting 140 inside 20 overs, then they will go above the Hobart Hurricanes. And talk about the surge in Big Bash. I mean, it's the Perth Scorchers who are producing a surge at the moment with their consecutive victories. So 140 to win. They do have some pace in their attack. I mean, the likes of Riley Meredith might enjoy bowling on this surface.
Absolutely. As long as you've got pace, somebody who can bend their back and get to that 140, 145 clicks, you'll always extract enough from these sort of pitches, which is conducive for fast bowling. So just now, it all depends. I think what they have done exceptionally well here, the Scorchers, their bowlers, because it's their home turf, they know exactly which length to bowl and what deliveries to bowl on this pitch, and probably that's the reason they've come out and bowled so well.
So 2 targets for the Perth Scorchers. Thanks, Abhishek. 51 for the Bash boost point, 140 for 3 points and the victory. And play will resume in around about 10 minutes or so on a lovely late afternoon, early evening in Perth, with temperatures in the high 20s and sun beaming down. Now, for now, let's go back to 2013 for a classic view from the boundary interview with one of English football's most respected voices. In a trophy-laden playing career that lasted almost 20 years, Gary Neville played for Manchester United 400 times, represented his country on 85 occasions. Of course, he and his brother Phil starred at Old Trafford football stadium, but they could easily have been breaking records at the cricket ground down the road, having been hugely promising batsmen in their teens. Gary joined Jonathan Agnew in the commentary box at the Old Trafford, known best to cricket fans, during an Ashes test in 2013 for a chat, and he began with his love of cricket.
I mean, it was typical as a kid: football in the winter, cricket in the summer. Me and my brother, we would switch just like that and love each sport equally, and played with the likes of Ronnie Irani, or against Ronnie Irani, against Michael Vaughan and a couple of other lads, and it was good. It toughened me up for cricket, because as a 14-year-old you're playing at football, you're playing against people your own age, whereas at cricket you're playing in the first team at Greenmount, you're coming up against professional cricketers in league cricket. Yeah, and it's a harsh environment, and for a 14-year-old it is. I remember getting dobbed once. Couldn't believe it, and a couple of my senior teammates came and said, "You won't do that again, son, will you?" And sort of it toughened me up.
Ingrained into you a bit.
Yeah, this is sport. This is you want to win. You want to win. You do anything to win. And I suppose it's not in the spirit of the game all the time, dobbing, particularly a 14-year-old kid from a 50-odd-year-old old Kersley pro as he was at the time. But it toughened me up and made me realise that sport's tough and that you've got to work hard at it.
Yes. What's dobbing then? That's a sort of a very northern term.
Mancad, is it when you...
Oh, that?
Yes.
You ran out, right.
At bowler's end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that a northern term?
I haven't heard a dobbing in that sense before.
Have you not?
No. You've taught me something, thank you. I'm going to jot that down. That's a new one. No. So backing up and off you go.
Backing up, yeah. Taking your bails, a bit of a naughty one.
Yeah, that is. Why did you do it?
He did it because he wanted to win. And I was 32 not out at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a league game. Light was fading. We were chasing about 190. I think we were about 150 odd for 6, 7. I was a young kid at the time, and just backing up at mine, a bit eager, and just clip my bails off and away I go. I'm out. And the rest of my teammates outwardly went mad at him.
Yeah.
But
you've never forgotten it.
Yeah, but in the changing room, a couple of them said, "You won't do that again. You have to wise up."
Yeah. What a great lesson. It must have been mayhem in your back garden, Gary, surely. I mean, there's you and your brother, and your sister, for goodness sake, also international sports woman. I mean, how did you sort it out? You must have been battling away in there. You must have been, it must have been come to bloodshed almost out there. It must be very competitive.
It was competitive, and I think the fact that my mum would play netball Monday night, rounders Thursday night, hockey Saturday. My dad would play cricket weekends. We'd always have sport to go and watch. We'd always be on the sidelines, either the netball court or the cricket pitch, just playing sport ourselves and loving it, and growing up in a very sporting environment. And we weren't pushed in the sense that you must become a professional football player or a cricket player, but because they played sport, we were always encouraged to go and watch them. And when we watched them, we did it ourselves. We wanted to be cricket players, wanted to be in both of them. You wanted to be Mike Gattin, Alan Lamb. You wanted to be Brian Robson at football, or one of the, it really did switch from summer to winter, and just had our heroes. And like I said, we had as many cricketing heroes as we did football. We used to practice, imitate all the run-ups of the England bowling actions. Yes, Derek Pringle wasn't very good.
Well, no, he had rather a sort of prancing sort of a run, wasn't it, for a big bloke?
Yeah, and I always got hit for 6 every time I bowled with Derek Pringle.
Well, I hope you gave it up.
Yeah, I did. Went with Imran Khan.
Yeah. When did it? First of all, I mean, you can brag about your cricket here, Gary, because you're allowed to. It's Test match special. But your brother probably was a bit better than you, was he? He was a serious cricketer. I mean, he broke Michael Atherton's and John Crawley's local records for Lancashire schools, played for England, was touring all around, playing for Lancashire seconds at the age of 15, 16. He was a real talent, and he had a choice to make. He had a genuine choice. Did he? Where Lancashire were offering him a contract and Manchester United were offering him a contract. And I'd started at Old Trafford, the football Old Trafford. Yes, the other one. And it was a case of, I think he just followed in my footsteps. Obviously, I'd enjoyed myself in my first 12 months. We'd won the Youth Cup, which was a big thing for Manchester United. He'd seen the 15, 20,000 people turn up to watch an under-18s game and thought, I'm going to follow Gary into football. And he'd have a real choice to make. He played Andrew Flintoff for many, many years as a young cricketer. Would it have been, if it had been a lesser football club, I wonder if Phil might not have made that choice, do you think? I think so. I always think back to Philip in particular. I know I joke sometimes about the two of us in terms of cricket, but actually I would love to have seen how he would have developed as a cricket player, because he was well thought of. He was... like you say, he was doing everything he could do at that age in terms of breaking the records of people who were going on and playing for England. So he was on the path, and it's a shame that you couldn't play both football and cricket, that the seasons overlap. I think it's a shame now. We've got an incredible cricket Test match series on here. We've got England versus Australia, and then the football season starts. And in some ways it'd be great, I love football, obviously I'm passionate about football, but it'd be great to see this series out and then start the football and have a genuine break. We'd agree with that in this box. Probably. Sure you would. Well, we would, but not least, of course, I suppose the both of you 25, 30 years ago, you might have done a Chris Balderstone or a Dennis Compton and actually being able to play both sports, which of course you can't do anymore.
You can't, and it's a shame. It is a shame, but I think the football season's got longer, the cricket season's got longer, the touring now of the cricket, they're all year round, the lads now, aren't they? They don't get a break. So I think it's impossible on both sports sides, really, to actually break that pattern anymore. I don't think you'll ever see it again.
No. Now, the people that you've played with, you shared quite a big stand with Matthew Hayden, I think, didn't you? What was it like batting with him?
Well, he was young at the time. I'd say he was probably 19, 20. He was the professional at our cricket club. We shared a stand of 200 plus in a Hamer Cup game against Astley Bridge. Probably the peak of my cricketing career, playing with somebody that had gone on, then went on to play for Australia. But I mean, Greenmount, where we played, was a small ground, so for him it literally was a flick off his pads, and it was 6 every time. He was incredible talent. To watch him close up at the age of I was 17 was. You were watching a different level. You really were watching a different level. Obviously, he went on to have a fantastic career, which is wonderful for him.
But you knew, batting at the other end, this bloke's got something.
You knew straight. I mean, the size of him was one thing, the sheer presence. So every time, everything was just so simple. He had so much time. And when you're watching cricket as a youngster, as I was a batsman, more a batsman than a bowler, and the really good ones, just everything looked simple and in control and never flustered, and he was just absolutely wonderful at seeing the ball.
You're playing some quite good shots just while they're talking, Cricketers can't help it, can we?
No.
We do our little hand signals. That's pretty good. Jeffrey would be impressed with that.
I don't think so. He's not impressed with anything.
No. I'm glad you met him briefly there. Saw him in action. Look at this picture I've been given here. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do remember.
So you're Matthew Hayden. I don't paper. Oh, it's the Bury Times. It featured in the Bury Times. A colour photo with Matthew Hayden. 2-ton route to cup final.
Yeah.
There we go. Greenmount. What did it say here? They massed 278 for 2 against Astley Bridges, thanks to 2 individual hundreds. Gary Neville, an apprentice footballer with Manchester United, strolled to the middle to join 21-year-old Australian professional Matthew Hayden. There you go. It's all there. It's recorded. Have you got that, Tommy? A little cutting.
Yes, it was the best.
Forget the other stuff. Forget all the England stuff, Gary. Forget all your Manchester United medals. There's stuff like that. That's special, isn't it?
It was the best moment in my cricket career, but also it finished my cricket career because it just mentions there that I was an apprentice at Manchester United.
Yeah.
And my youth team coach actually didn't realise that I'd carried on playing cricket in the summer.
So you got in trouble.
So he basically said, "What's this? What are you doing? You've got to stop. You're not insured," and all the rest of it. So that was actually probably, I would say, my last game of cricket. I actually played in the final against Bradshaw. We lost, unfortunately, but I actually played one more game of cricket after that.
It's great you can remember all these games. For all the stuff that you've done, all the football that you've had since, you still remember playing in these games.
I remember everything. I really do. I remember as an under-13 Lancashire under-13 player being left out partway through the season, and the upset and disappointment that caused me at the time. I remember getting back in the year after at under-14 level, and I then remember being quite prominent in the under-15s. I remember all the individual experiences, not walking for my school team on the 49.
Oh, do you?
Nick one behind and thought...
It's a bit unpopular with me, that, Gary.
Yes, I know, but I didn't do it. And I think that to me... I didn't walk, and it was selfish. It was selfish, and it was a way in which to say... I didn't walk. It wouldn't be something that I don't think my grandparents would have been proud of me for not walking, because they used to come and watch me all the time. But I wanted to win, and that's why I've got sympathy now for somebody who's out there in that middle, and they've fought all the career to get into the middle, and all of a sudden that moment comes, and it's through disappointment sometimes, through that wanting to win. I know you should always say sportsmen should think more and they should pay more attention and the responsibility that they have, but sometimes you can't help but getting caught up in the actual event and the game and the moment that you're in as a sportsman.
When it's your job as well, that's the difference, I guess.
There we are, that's Gary Neville talking to Jonathan Agnew, an old view from the boundary from 2013. There's a treasure trove of all that sort of thing, old view from the boundary on BBC Sounds and on the BBC Sounds app and 5 Live Sports Extra and the BBC Sport website. You'll be able to follow ball by ball commentary on the first test between Sri Lanka and England from Thursday morning at 4:15. Play starts at 4:30. If you don't want to be with us, then please join us at breakfast time or a more civilised hour, but we'll be with you throughout the series. 2 test matches, Gaul on Thursday and then Gaul again the following week. For the moment, we're going to concentrate on Big Bash from Australia. The Perth Scorchers in pursuit of 51 for a Bash boost point and 140 for 3 points, restricting the Hobart Hurricanes to 139 for 5. And while we're talking about cricket from Australia and talking about Test match cricket and commentary plans coming up. The England match at 4:30. Will start the play at 4:30. We've also got ball-by-ball commentary for you on the fourth final test between Australia and India from the Gabba later this week. The play starting at midnight and on Sports Extra until the start of the action from the England game, and then it will go online. So much cricket coming up and plenty of choice for you. So the Hobart Hurricanes in their purple outfit are making their way back onto the ground at the Optus Stadium, looking to defend 1-3-9. They've been over in Perth for a while. They played a neutral match, if you like, in their last game, which they lost. And Perth Scorchers, well, they are in very good form. They won 4 in a row, looking to make it 5. Their next match, though, is away from Perth. It's in Canberra on the 16th of January. And I should also say as well that tomorrow's match from the Big Batch is also from Canberra. The top 2 before today, the Sydney Derby in Canberra, the Sydney Thunder against the Sydney Sixers. Abhishek Jijamwala is alongside me, so we think that Perth Scorchers have got this under control, but as we've seen before in T20 cricket, all sorts of cricket. I mean, who thought that India would survive on the last day of the Test match? I certainly didn't. I don't know whether you did, Abhishek.
To be honest, once Pujara was out, I was watching the game. I woke up at 4 in the morning to make sure I watched the last session, and it was incredible just to see the grit and fight and determination from Vihari and Ashwin. Ashwin especially kept getting hit on his ribs, hands, shoulders, but it was unbelievable. They just didn't let it go. And to be honest, I've been watching Test cricket for so long and watching India for so long. I've never seen something like that from Indian team.
Well, it was their longest innings fourth innings in Asia for 40 years.
It's unbelievable. And I wasn't even born.
The longest fourth innings by India for 40 years. Yeah. Since the Oval, when they nearly chased down 400 against England. And they were 10 runs short with 2 wickets in hand. Right, we've had the countdown at the Optus Stadium, and Perth Scorchers are about to get underway with Livingston out there and Roy out there, and Roy's first ball flies through outside the off stump from Riley Meredith, and we thought that he might enjoy bowling on this pitch, and there was a good afternoon, welcome to Perth, Jason Roy sort of delivery from Riley Meredith, and Roy comes down the pitch and dabs a spot where I think that's just to settle the mind really. Did the ball really pitch there? I think it was a bit shorter than that. Roy kicks away a bit of debris from around the crease. So Jason Roy so far, Abhishek was mentioning, he hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't really hit the heights that you'd expect him. There was a 49, 138 runs in 5 games. I suppose he just comes in with so much expectation. Meredith bowls to him, Roy plays defensively, offering the full face of the bat, goes into the onside, up towards mid-on, and there is no run. The one innings I saw him play, that he couldn't get going. You could see his frustration building, and he couldn't get the strike as well. That was the other thing. He was batted quite deep into the innings without facing that many balls. So 138 runs from 5 innings, no 50s yet, strike rate of 118, which is quite down. You consider Marsh 142, Inglis 137, Munro 130, Ashton Turner 180. Here is Meredith, he's got some pace about him, goes in, bowls Roy full, good delivery, excellent delivery, but well played by Roy Yorker. He got down on it and played it into the onside. This is a really good contest between these two. Riley Meredith steaming in. Is he offering a word or two as well? No, perhaps not.
It's a great contest, and as you mentioned earlier, Simon, he can rack up some pace, and he's bowling really quick at the moment, and what we have seen so far in the first 3 deliveries he has bowled, he's got control as well, not just pace, and that's most important when you can bowl quick, to have that balance between the pace and your execution, and so far has been brilliant, and 3 deliveries have been quick, and Jason Roy, the first one was terrific.
Here goes Meredith, ball to Roy outside the off stump, and he goes for the forcing shot, but he was a bit late on that. The ball went past the outside edge and through to the keeper, who's standing a long way back.
Yeah, that was a quick delivery again outside the off stump. Jason Roy, there was room outside the off stump, but I think it was a bit too quick. By the time his bat came in, the ball keeper already had caught the ball. It was quick. He's got 12 wickets as well in this competition, Meredith. So he's not just bowling quick, he's picking up wickets, which is ever so important. But at the moment, he's winning the battle against Jason Roy, who's been in okay form, as we spoke about it earlier. He's got a 49, couple of 27s and a 20 as well, but he's just not had the opportunity to go out there and get a big total, big score.
Meredith bowls to Roy. Roy gets a full ball outside the off stump that swings away a fraction, and he drives and misses it.
You know what it reminds me at the moment? So we were playing this game at Wankhede, and you know Wankhede pitch could be quite quick and fast, unlike other pitches in India. And Dale Steyn was bowling this over to first over to Rohit Sharma. First 6 balls, Rohit just swung the bat and didn't touch anything because the ball was swinging like a banana from leg to off, and he was bowling at 155 clicks. And I was in point. I was like, just don't hit it to me. It's going to come so quick. It was one of the best overs I've ever seen in my life. It was unbelievable.
How did it play out in the end?
Oh, Rohit did get 70 odd at the end, but the first over was just unreal. Unreal.
Well, it could be a maiden here. Meredith goes in, bowls to Roy with a slip in, and Roy tries something, swings at that, swats at it, and it goes amazingly for 6 over fine third man. Well, there was a hint of desperation about that from Jason Roy. It was a swish, and he got lucky. And even Meredith could see the funny side of it. I mean, that was a victory for Meredith, that over, but ultimately it's 6 for no wicket. A remarkable shot over fine third man. So 6th off the first over. A few thoughts from you, Abhishek, and then Stefan Shamot is going to pick up the commentary.
Oh, that was some over from Meredith, but as you mentioned, Jason Roy just going for that big heave at the end. He didn't have any answer to those first 5 deliveries. So the 6th delivery, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to swing my bat and see what happens. Luckily for him, it worked, got a top edge and still carried a long way outside the boundary towards the third man region. So at the end, not a bad start. 6 without loss for the Perth Scorchers.
Now, Abhishek, you'll know that I'm a student of the colour of kit.
Yep.
And I'm taken by Liam Livingstone here. So his colours are orange and black of Perth Scorchers. He's added to that some white boots, traditional, no problem with that. Black pads, but black and white gloves as well. Here comes Scott Boland, bowling to Liam Livingstone, who's edging and dropped at gully. It was a wild slash by Livingstone to a full delivery on the off stump. Very catchable. Would you call that gully, Abhishek, or just backward point? It's gone very, very quick.
I think that was backward point, and Darcy short, just shaking his head, hand on his knees, disappointed. Should have taken it at this level.
It's absolutely flown to short. But you're right, he should have taken that. Breadbasket, really, just maybe half a pace to his right, but straight through the hands. Liam Livingstone survives, put down from the very first ball he faced. Scorchers 6 without loss. Boland bowls to Livingstone, who gets slightly tucked up, pushing the ball to mid-on, and there's no run. Back to Liam Livingstone's kit.
Back to what I said, when you've got a colour boot, colour, all sort of other colour stuff, and with the coloured gloves, you've got to be a gun to be able to pull it off.
I don't mind. I can accept the sort of the contrast of the orange, black and the white with the kit, the pads and the boots. But the black and white gloves looks a bit like a domino. Boland bowls outside the off stump. Livingstone forces off the back foot into the offside, and there's no run. Scorchers 6 without loss. They need 140 to beat the Hobart Hurricanes for their 5th successive victory. If the Scorchers win and pick up the Bash boost point, that target is 51 after 10 overs. The Scorchers would go above the Hurricanes into 4th place. They would probably even go above the Adelaide Strikers in 3rd on net run rate. This is their last game at Optus Stadium. Scorchers. Boland to Livingstone, who's down the track looking for a big swipe into the leg side, gets absolutely nothing on it. Ball hits his leg, goes to first slip, and there's no run. So Liam Livingstone's faced 4 deliveries, yet to get off the mark, and he's been dropped.
Yeah, again, a desperation from Liam Livingstone, trying to go for that big heave on the onside. The bowling has been exceptional from both sides so far. Again, hitting that hard length. There's hardly any room for the batsmen to play with. They've got to make something. There's nothing happening for them, and that's what both the batsmen are trying as well.
Livingstone bends at the knee as Boland bowls outside the off stump, and this time Livingstone can angle the ball to third man for his first run. Polite applause, maybe relieved applause inside the Optus Stadium. Scorchers 7 without loss. Livingstone, the Lancashire man, if we've talked about Jason Roy struggling to get going, well, Livingston's struggles have been greater. 69 runs in 5 innings, strike rate of only 92 and a highest score of 22. He was excellent last year for the Scorchers, 425 runs.
It's always been the case for the openers in T20. Sometimes it could be a hit and a miss. Once they start getting runs, there can be an opportunity to get it.
Boland to complete the over. Roy pushes into the offside. No great power, so it's a dot ball to complete the second over. The Scorchers are 7 without loss, chasing 140 to beat the Hurricanes. It's live commentary, the Big Bash League on 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. Tomorrow, the Sydney Derby, the top 2, Sixers v the Thunder. That's being played in Canberra. And then on Thursday, live and exclusive coverage of the first test match between Sri Lanka and England in Galle. Coverage starts at 4:15 in the morning, rolling into a bumper weekend of test match cricket across the BBC from midnight on Friday morning. Almost 12 hours uninterrupted of test match cricket. The final test between Australia and India rolling into Sri Lanka versus England. When Sri Lanka versus England hits the airwaves, the Australia versus India game will move online. Meredith bowls to Liam Livingston. It's a very full delivery. His appeal for LBW. Livingston's gone across his stumps. He must have hit it, because if that's hit the pad, he'd be stone dead. They take a single, 8 without loss, the Scorchers.
Yeah, I just feel he didn't hit it. Probably missing the leg. That's what umpire must have thought.
Oh, you're right, Abhishek. Livingston, he'd moved across his stumps to the offside. Then at the last moment, the front leg almost kicked outside the line of leg stump. 8 without loss.
Yeah. Decent decision, but to be honest, a good decision by the umpire at the end to give it not out, because as you mentioned, from the first movement he did, when Jason Roy moved outside the leg stump, a lot of umpire would just think that the ball is still hitting him in the line.
Riley Meredith, massive approach to Jason Roy. Pacey Roy, that's wonderfully timed through mid-wicket. Just a clip off the pads from a full delivery on leg stump. And Jason Roy, he's not all fire and brimstone. Sometimes it's wonderful touches of timing. Just like that, the Scorchers move on to 12 without loss.
And also, when you have such pace and the delivery always helps, you know that as long as you can just time, the ball is going to race to the boundary. And that's exactly what happened here. Meredith is bowling a very good line. He's bowling with some real pace as well. But Jason Roy got into a very good position to play that ball through the onside, through mid-wicket. Head position was very good. Didn't try and overhit it either.
Meredith to Roy. This time he's pulling top edge straight up into the blue sky. The ball's coming down just past the man who's running back from the edge of the 30-yard circle at square leg. It was Dawid Malan. And the ball hangs in the air long enough for them to run to. Jason Roy's shaking his head because he didn't get hold of the short delivery. But he survives. 14 without loss. The Scorchers chasing 140.
Yeah, very lucky that there was no deep square leg fielder. Otherwise, it could have been an easy catch towards that fielder. The fielder was inside the 30-yard circle. Jason Roy didn't get much on it, but enough to go over that infield. But good delivery again. Very good execution of his skills here by Meredith. Very well directed bouncer. Was a quick one as well. Not too short. Jason Roy taking him on, but luckily surviving as well.
Meredith, tall and slender, bowls to Roy. Again, it's worked into the onside all along the ground, and Dawid Malan scrabbling on the floor at a straightish square leg, can't prevent the single. 15 without loss. Roy has 13 from 10. Abhishek, to go back to the attention to detail on the kit. Jason Roy's stem guard on the back of his helmet, orange, to match the rest of his kit. I'm a fan of that.
That is a proper attention to detail there. I didn't even pick it up. I'm busy looking at the ball at the moment.
Yeah, you're doing what you're here for. I'm just getting distracted by the colours of the player's kit.
Yeah, they do look very nice though. Fancy.
Meredith bowls to Livingston. Short delivery, swing and a miss. Dot ball. It's good pace from Meredith. Tall, lean figure. He's got the twirly moustache that makes him look, I don't know, he could be like the henchman of a sort of Prohibition-era hooch running gang.
Yeah, it was again a good bouncer there.
You ever seen Boardwalk Empire? Steve Buscemi, Abhishek?
No,
unfortunately. Series set in Prohibition America. Riley Meredith looks like the man who'd be able to hook you up with something. Maybe a flat cap and a tweed blazer.
Got to check it out.
He's number 21, white towel on the back of his trousers, full to Livingston, who drives straight back to the bowler. Meredith does the fielding in his follow-through with a big smile on his face. He's bowling with extreme pace, Riley Meredith, but unsuccessful so far. He's conceded 13 runs from his 2 overs. Perth Scorchers are 15 without loss after 3. Jason Roy has 13, Liam Livingston 1. This all-England opening pair. The Perth Scorchers, they need another 125 runs off 102 deliveries for the overall victory, and their target for the Bash boost point is 51 at the halfway point.
Yeah, the way they're going, it doesn't look very difficult. They've got a lot of batting at the end as well, so it's just about this partnership. How deep can they take it? Livingstone struggling at the moment, 1 of 8 deliveries, so he will look to get going as well. Boland again back into the attack.
Powerful figure, Boland into Jason Roy, angles towards short third man. Livingston wants a single but is sent back and has to scamper for his ground as the throw comes in.
Yep, with both Jason Roy and Livingston, we know they like playing their shots, they like taking that risk early into their innings, and sometimes it works, and when it works it comes out brilliantly, but a lot of times we've seen them failing early, and that's probably been the case in this tournament, in this year's BBL.
Shadow all across the Optus Stadium as Boland bowls outside the off stump. It's cut by Roy, off a bit of a toe end, but it gets past the backward point fielder down to third man for a single. 16 without loss, 124 off 100 deliveries required.
Yeah, a bit disappointed, Jason Roy, because that ball was there to be hit. He did manage to get a bit of bat on it, but as you mentioned, just toe-ended it rather than trying getting it middle of the bat. So he'll be a bit gutted that he didn't get a boundary of that delivery, but now back on strike is Livingstone, who's a bit struggling a bit, 1 of 8.
Boland, big chest, bowls to Livingston, who again only defends into the offside and then makes the universal hand signal as if the ball has nipped around, just puts his right hand in front of him and waggles it around as if to say, that ball's just done a bit. 1 off 9 Livingston, 16 without loss to Scorchers.
Yeah, I think in the recent years, Steve Smith and Labuschagne take a lot of credit for that. They make pretty much every ball look like something's going on in the pitch. Pretty much every delivery they face. It's quite interesting to watch. You enjoy watching them and all their mannerisms, Stefan.
Livingston's got short sleeves up his biceps. He's down the track and belting this one out in towards the leg side. There is a sweeper out there, but he won't win the race as the ball trickles into the mid-wicket fence. Livingston gets going and inspects his bat. Scorchers are 20 without loss.
Yeah, you could expect that he's going to have a little shimmy and try and go for that shot, try and get out of that bubble where he's got stuck a little bit. And though he didn't time it that well, but still enough to get it to the boundary. There was a deep square leg fielder, but he hit it in front of it, and that will take a bit of pressure away from him, giving a bit of confidence as well. Boundaries always help in T20 cricket.
Boland, white towel in the front of his trousers, bowls to Livingston, who's scooping over his shoulder. It goes high into the air behind the wicket-keeper for 6. What an extraordinary stroke. Well, a couple of balls ago, you didn't know where Liam Livingston's next run was coming from. First a sachet down the track and a pull for 4, and now an audacious scoop shot for 6. Serious hang time on that one as it dropped beyond the sight screen. Scorchers 26 without loss.
Yeah, I think that was a great execution of that shot, but there was a lot of game awareness as well. After the last delivery, he knew that Boland is going to try and bowl the length delivery. He was ready for it, just moving away ever so slightly, keeping his eye on the ball and then scooping it over that wicket keeper. But to get that much elevation, and as you mentioned, the hang time for the ball to carry all the way into the stands was just incredible. And yeah, 2 balls early, we were talking about him struggling, 1 of 9, and suddenly he's on 11 of 11 after those 2 boundaries. And that's what T20 cricket is all about. He played one very high-risk shot, but the next one was a phenomenal shot.
Boland trundles in. This time Livingston carefully plays behind square on the offside. He sets off for the single, and when he realises it's not there, he does a pirouette and a leap about 5 yards down the track before returning to the safety of his ground. That's the final delivery of the 4th over. Perth Scorchers are 26 without loss. Jason Roy 14 from 12, Liam Livingston 11 from 12. Scorchers need 114 off 96 deliveries to win the game. Earlier on, Hobart Hurricanes, after winning the bat flip, posted 139 for 5, never really got going. Some excellent bowling and fielding from the Perth Scorchers in their final home game at Optus Stadium. Darcy Short made 54, but not much else bar Tim David's 31 from 23 deliveries at the end of the innings. Dawid Malan, the England batsman, the world #1 T20 player at the moment, he didn't register a run from the 6 balls he faced.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing. Dawid Malan, we were expecting big things from him. Again, falling quite early today. Faced 6 deliveries for 0. He couldn't score a run today.
Leg spin, Sandeep Lamashane from the Nepalese bowler, reverse swept by Jason Roy from the first ball he faces. Couple taken, 28 without loss to Scorchers. Remember, after 4 overs, the fielding restrictions relax. Further 2 overs of power surge to be taken in the second 10. So the Hurricanes have been able to drop fielders outside the ring, bring on the leg spinner who's got #1 on his back, scurrying approach. Jason Roy down the track, defending with bat and pad. All of a sudden, though, you just feel like it's a different game, bit more mystery, pace off, different challenge for the batsman.
Oh, absolutely, and Sandeep Lamashane has done pretty well in the BBL career, to be honest. 25 matches, 30 odd wickets. Economy is pretty good as well, under 7.5.
It's quickly into Roy, who cuts, going back deep in his crease, but toe-ended straight to the man at short extra cover, and there's no run. 28 without loss. The Scorchers need 112 from 93 balls.
Yeah, but what a story he is as well. Lamashani's story, coming from Nepal. I don't think many people would have thought anybody from Nepal would play at this level.
Roy reverse sweeping powerfully out towards the backward point boundary for 4. Rubber wrists from Jason Roy, but so much force in the stroke. Almost define geometry, or you think he's going to do himself an injury when he plays a stroke like that. 32 without loss, the Scorchers.
Yeah, it's amazing how they can generate such power playing that reverse sweep. The wrist, you really need a very, very strong wrist. Again, a googly Jason Roy picking it and just hitting it backward of point.
Lamashane bowls. Roy this time works the ball into the onside off the back foot for a single. 33 without loss, the Scorchers, with 1 delivery of the 5th over remaining. They need only 18 runs off 31 balls for the Bash boost point. That's their first mission this evening. Collect that, then move on to their overall target of 140 for the victory.
But the reverse sweep is such a terrific shot to play against spinners, because that completely gets them off their line.
This time Lamashane to Livingston, wide. Livingston drives a half volley out towards long off, where the fielder moves around to his left to prevent the ball reaching the rope. Lamashane, the leg spinner, concedes 8 runs from his first over. Perth Scorchers are 34 without loss. Jason Roy 21, Livingston 12. The England pair doing the job for the home side at the moment as they chase 140 to beat the Hobart Hurricanes. 34 without loss after 5.
They're doing pretty well. They only need 106 of 90 deliveries with 10 wickets in hand. Both Jason Roy and Livingston are looking well set now. Initially they had a bit of a tough time against the fast bowlers, but now they're just easing into their innings here. Jason Roy 21 of 17. Livingstone again looking good, 12 of 13. Again, going back to the shot he played against Lamashane, it's such a good shot to play against spinners, because that's completely throws them off their line in length. And also it's very hard as a captain to set field, because once you start playing the reverse sweep, the deep cover fielder is such an important position for a captain.
More spin, left arm wrist spin from Darcy Short, turned into the onside by Liam Livingston behind square for a single. 35 without loss, the Scorchers.
Yeah, again another spinner. So probably Darcy Short bowling. Roy again probably try and bring in that reverse sweep. And again, going back to the point, deep cover fielder becomes such an important position, because it's very difficult to place him properly.
Roy this time belting the ball up towards long on for 6. It was low and flat, and the long on fielder may have been in the game at one point, but instead it's gone 5 or 10 yards straight of him into the crowd. Jason Roy's cooking here, 27 from 18, Scorchers 41 without loss. In fact, it was nowhere near the long on fielder. Great take by a man in a blue shirt, set 2 rows back.
Yeah, absolutely, it was a very good catch by him. He has to bend forward, lean down to get to that delivery.
Darcy short again to Jason Roy, pulling along the ground all the way up to the deep mid-wicket sweeper. 42 without loss to Scorchers midway through the 6th. Yeah, to linger on the crowd catch, Abhishek, there's a number of things you need to look for here. This particular gentleman in the short sleeve blue shirt, he looked like he was just slightly worried about his shorts falling down. Darcy short to Liam Livingstone, goes back, forces through the offside. 1 taken. Scorchers move on to 43 without loss. This has not looked threatening from Darcy short so far.
Oh, absolutely not. But Henry and I were discussing one of the days about all the innovation coming into cricket and different things and how cricket is going forward. And I had a question to Henry that, do you ever think that, let's get back to that later on.
Jason Roy sweeps, goes down the leg side behind the wicketkeeper for a leg bye. Score moves on to 44 without loss. 1 delivery of the 6th over remaining.
Yeah, so I had a very weird kind of a question to him, and I asked him, will there be ever an innovation where if a spectator catches off your one hand, you're out?
Livingston down the track, stumping missed. It would have been a very difficult chance. It's thudded into the wicket-keeper's pad and gone away. So difficult for the keeper to take those sort of chances. Ben McDermott behind the stumps. It's almost reached him on the half volley, almost hit the wicket-keeper on the foot. I think he would have been very, very surprised that Liam Livingstone had managed to miss it. But miss it he did. Sharp chance, but the sort that the Hobart Hurricanes have to take to this game. They're only defending 140, and the Perth Scorchers have moved on to 44 without loss. Jason Roy has 28, and Liam Livingstone, the man who was reprieved, on 14. After Abhishek Junjunwala, it'll be Simon Mann.
Yeah, that was a difficult chance. I'm not sure if I should be calling it a chance at all, because that was a very difficult take for the keeper. It was on a half volley. To get that low that quickly, it's very difficult. But nevertheless, Liam Livingstone missing it completely and still there on 14 of 16 deliveries. Lamishane.
Ben McDermott, the man behind the stumps. Lamishane begins a new over. Roy pulls him for 4. He's found the gap between the two fielders at deep mid-wicket and long on. And Roy is really finding his way now. Difficult start for him. A remarkable first over against Riley Meredith, who was bowling fast and straight and swinging it a bit. And Roy struggled and then eventually just had a waft and got a top edge for 6. But since then, he's beginning to time it well. Lamishane goes in, bowls to Roy, who's down the pitch, and he pads that away. It goes towards short third man, the catch is claimed, but Roy clearly padded that away. Basically, he changed his shot there. He was looking to attack, realised it wasn't there for the shot, and offered the pad a long way down.
Yeah, I think what Lamishane did well, he saw Roy come out pretty early and change his line and threw it wide outside the off stump. Roy did really well to get to that and pad it up. Otherwise, he would be in a bit of a trouble.
Lamishane bowls to Roy, goes back and cracks it away into the offside, or tries to, hits it hard into the surface actually. Goes out to deep cover, goes through for a single. They're nearly there for the Bash Boost point. 2 of 21 balls, I think they're going to do it.
Absolutely. I think they need 50 or 51. 51 to get to the Bash Boost point. So 2 away from that.
Lamishane bowls to Livingstone. Livingstone turns it into the onside. Big gap there through mid-wicket. They're looking for 2. They decide against it. Throws hurled in. Is it Boland actually keeping wicket, is it? It's Boland.
McDermott.
Yeah, he's got Boland on the shirt though.
Yeah. Probably he's left his shirt in the room. Forgot to probably bring the long sleeve one. He was batting with a short sleeve. So that's why. Just borrowing it off his mate.
50 for no wicket, 1 for the Bash Boost point. Lamishane goes in and bowls, pulled away by Roy. There it is, there's the point, out to deep mid-wicket. So that's 1 in the pocket. And goal is the further 3. And if they do that, they'll be above the Hobart Hurricanes in the table. 51 for no wicket. Livingstone on 15, Roy on 34. Lamishane goes in, bowls to Livingstone. Livingstone pulls that away towards deep square leg, picks out the fielder. Milan is there, sends in the return on the bounce to McDermott. He definitely has got Boland's shirt on, hasn't he?
Yeah,
McDermott, yeah.
Yes. As I mentioned, he was definitely batting with a short sleeve, so probably he's left his shirt, the long sleeve, on the keeping T-shirt back in the hotel. Probably that's why he's borrowing it off Boland. But very good start for the Scorchers and the Bash Boost point in their kitty. Simon, we were discussing with all the innovations this year, I think Bash Boost is something which will be taken very well globally in the other leagues, because this does bring something new to the game. And also, even if you know that you don't have a chance to win the game, you lose a few early wickets, you can still try and go for that 10 over mark.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
I think it's worked quite well.
Yeah.
What about your innovation about the crowd catch?
Yeah,
imagine if you're a batsman, hit it into the crowd about 10 rows back, someone catches it in the crowd one-handed, and
you
you're
have
out.
to catch it one hand.
That's still a bit tough on the batsman, isn't it? I mean, it does engage the crowd, though, doesn't it?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just to throw it, to make it a bit more fun for the crowd and everyone around. But as a batsman, you won't be happy.
I'd like to see you be the first batsman out that way. Nathan Ellis is into the attack. Bowls to Livingston, who drives into the onside, up towards long on for a single. Score advances to 53 for no wicket. Perth Scorchers in pursuit of 140. Start of the 8th over. There were a few disgruntled batsmen around. Mind you, it sort of give you a different aspect of range hitting, rather than sort of you have to sort of place it, but like a golfer, landing in just the right place.
Or you can create the zones where if you hit there and the ball lands there, somebody catches it one hand, then you're out. So you can create different zones in the ground. Not everyone can catch it. Probably one or two zones like that.
Oh, I see.
And you're unfortunate if you get out like that.
Very unfortunate, I would say. Ellis goes in and bowls to Roy, and Roy clips that away into the onside, forward of square. Just the single. Meredith comes in, sends in the return to wicketkeeper McDermott, who's taken off his helmet now. The pace bowler's off, so he's got the yellow cap for being leading run scorer in the Big Bash. He's on 301, only 2 today for McDermott. Ellis is in his first over then. It's 86 to win off 76 balls for the Perth Scorchers, make it 5 in a row. Ellis, who's been impressive in Big Bash, certainly had a good season last year, moves in now, right arm over the wicket, bowls to Livingston, who tries to dab that down to third man and somehow gets it on the bounce through to wicketkeeper McDermott. There is no run.
He's very lucky that he didn't chop it onto the stumps. Was very close to the off stump. Tried to just run it down to the third man for another single there. Livingstone still not getting his footings here. Still on 17 of 20, though he's played a few brilliant shots so far, but just struggling a little bit still. But there's no real pressure. 86 of 75. He has the luxury of time here in his hands.
Ellis hustling in, bowls to Livingston, who clips that uppishly into the onside, gets up to long on quickly. Owen is there, fumbles it initially, but only ever going to be a single. It returns to McDermott. Livingston's not had a great time of it so far, with 69 runs from his 5 innings. And 22 his highest score, so he's 4 away from that. Crowd quiet at the moment. There's been some spectacular hitting, and notably that 6 from Livingston, that ramp shot that went way back over the straight boundary behind him. Ellis bowls right arm over the wicket to Roy, gives himself some room, tries to manoeuvre that into the offside, hits it hard into the surface, and Ellis goes away to his left to stop it, and there is no run. Sydney Derby tomorrow on Big Bash, and then the first test between Sri Lanka and England on Thursday at 4:15 in the morning. Australia, India, when that gets underway, we'll be on air. The start of that one is midnight, so later in the week, cricket, 12 hours of cricket for you on 5 Live Sports Extra and on the BBC Sport website as well. 55 for no wicket. Last ball of Ellis is over, bowls to Roy. Roy tucked up by that one. Good tight line, pace from Ellis, and the ball goes away to extra cover, and there is no run. So 55 for no wicket after 8 overs. The Perth Scorchers in search of 140. A few more thoughts from you, Abhishek, and then you're going to have a break, and Stefan's going to join me. I mean, so far so good, but that was a tidy over from Ellis.
Very tidy over, and very impressive as well from Ellis. It kept a very good length, and again the length and the line both were very, very precise from him. The execution was really good, but I still think Perth Scorchers should have it pretty easy. 55 without loss, both batsmen looking pretty set. I think from the Hobart Hurricane point of view, unless they can pick up 2 or 3 quick wickets here, this pretty much looks like game over.
Yeah, it feels that way. The game can change round very quickly in T20, as we've seen, but that target is not a daunting one. Now Owen's going to have his first bowl. 19 years of age, Mitchell Owen. He came out and batted with a great deal of confidence. Made 11, not out. Okay, it doesn't sound a great deal, but he came right in at the end and hit the ball sweetly right from the start. A couple in the last over, which he wasn't able to get onto, but hit one tremendous four off his second ball. Now his first deliveries in Big Bash. His right arm over the wicket, medium fast, and his first ball goes for four, but off a top edge down towards the very fine third man boundary. Livingston having a swing at a short ball, and again a very Perth-like stroke, that with the ball flying away off a thick top edge. Owen walks back to his mark, chewing his gum with a smile on his face. And Livingston gets an extremely fortuitous four to equal his best score in this season's competition. He's 22 not out, and the Perth Scorchers 59 for no wicket. Whether you've seen Owen bowl before, whether any video around for him to have a look at. Scott Boland takes a while to retrieve the ball because it bounced down beneath the crowd, but over the advertising board down by the sight screen, and eventually it's come back. Tallish, slimly built Mitchell Owen, trying to make his way in the game. His first game at senior level goes in now. He's got quite a measured run, and Livingston tries to ramp him there and misses it. And it felt it was definitely ended up being the right ball to lift over the keeper's head or over his left shoulder, but he wasn't able to get onto it, and it went through to Ben McDermott. So 81 to win off 70 balls for the Perth Scorchers. 59 for no wicket. Earlier Darcy Short made 54. Useful runs from David and Owen at the end, but they struggled to get going at the start. Owen bowls, and Livingston goes after this down the ground. He's hit high in the air, and that's got enough on it to go over the rope at long off and away for 6 runs. That went extremely high from Livingston. Charged at Owen, smashed him back over his head. Towering stroke. A lot of hang time on that. Two fielders running back towards the straight boundary. So a bit of pressure here for Owen. 10 off his first 3 balls, a 4 and a 6. You feel Livingston's after him here, and you can understand why. Player on his debut, trying to put the pressure back on him. Livingston on 28. Owen goes in, bowls, and this time he does play that ramp shot, and he executes it, and it goes down towards the fine leg boundary. A good tumbling save from Lamishane, who anticipated it well. He ran round the rope and kept it down to a single, so Livingston to 29. I mean, normally when you execute those ramp shots, they go away for 4, but Lamishane was quickly round. 66 for no wicket, 74 to win, so nearly halfway, and they've still got the surge overs to come, and we're only in the 9th over. Owen sets off into bowl to Roy, and Roy turns it quietly into the onside, short of mid-on for a single, then leaps in the air to avoid being hit by the ball, as he made his ground, and also he was avoiding being struck as well. So although his feet would have been off the air if the ball had hit the stumps, he would have been okay. 67 for no wicket, with 1 ball left of the 9th over. Jason Roy to 36, and Liam Livingston on 29. He's looked to take Owen on so far in this over, with 1 ball to go. What's his approach going to be here? Owen goes in, bowls to Livingston, who slaps his way into the onside, and I think it's gone just over the rope at deep square leg. It was a nice sound off the bat, dismissed by Livingston, and indeed it is a 6. Livingston to 35, and Owen in his first over in Big Bash has gone for 18. 73 for no wicket after 9 overs. 67 to win off 67 balls, Stefan.
Yeah, Liam Livingston's toyed with the debutant there. Talk about innovation, Simon. What about if you're on debut, you can have 3 balls at the stumps with no batsmen there? Give him a chance, the young lad.
It was a tough introduction for him, his first over. He batted well, he came out and struck it well, but it was almost there as the 2 experienced English pros saying, we're not going to let you bowl at us, we are going to take you on, because you're going to be feeling a bit of pressure, nervous on debut, and we're going to take you on. And it worked for them. Okay, there was a bit of good fortune at times. Darcy Short's going to bowl against. First over went for 9. They tried to get after him as well. Here is Short with his left arm wrist spinners, bowls to Roy. Roy goes leg side, Short bowls wide of off stump, and Roy tries to thrash it away, and he came off the shot a bit there, so he just couldn't get any power in it. Hit it hard into the surface, and there was no run. Short's bowling left arm over the wicket to Roy, again a bit short, and Roy tries to slap that short ball away and hits it hard into the surface again, straight back to the bowler, who's got a big smile on his face, and so is Roy as well. Those frustrating moments, almost perhaps trying to hit it too hard. Roy settles over his bat, and here is short again, past the umpire now, tiptoes in, bowls to Roy, who slams it into the leg side, one banks for 4, out towards cow corner. He really nailed that one. He was sort of building up in a way in the over, Roy. He wanted to take short on, and he cracked that away. Roy to 40. It's 77 for no wicket.
They're cantering, aren't they, these England pair?
Roy hits that one away again off the back foot, this time out towards cow corner again. That's gone for 4. He's found the gap again between those two fielders out there, deep mid wicket and long on, and he picked that off. Really, it wasn't a great delivery from Darcy Short, a fraction short from him, and Roy hoofed it away, and he goes to 44. And Short is being dealt with here. He puts his hand and rubs it through his hair. He knows that wasn't a great delivery. 81 for no wicket. Short bowls to Roy, another short ball, it's pulled away again out towards the wide long on area, and that's gone for 4 as well. Well, Roy's feasting on Darcy Short. He had a couple of balls at the start of the over where he just couldn't get after him. The balls are a bit wider, those were straightish and dropped down, and Roy's swinging him away, and Short has been dealt with here, really punished. Last ball of the over, that's full, and Roy drives up towards long on, takes the single. It's his 49th run, and the Perth Scorchers at the halfway mark, well, you almost feel the game's done, really. We sense that Hobart Hurricanes didn't have enough, and sometimes you can get it wrong. This team struggles to get runs on the board in the first innings, and then the team batting second, you think they're going to win comfortably, and they don't. They have a similar struggle because the pitch is a bit grabby, difficult to score on, but it doesn't feel like that. The Optus Stadium, it's a decent pitch. It comes on, you get value for your shots. The top edges go for 6 because of the extra bounce. And the Perth Scorchers, after 10 overs, are 86 for no wicket. They'll have to play very poorly to mess it up from here, Stefan, as the players take that mid-innings break, and the backup staff come onto the ground.
There hasn't been a 10-wicket victory in this year's Big Bash. 7 wickets is the largest margin of victory for a team batting second. There's only ever been 4 10-wicket victories in the history of the Big Bash. One of them is owned by the Scorchers. But at the moment, it feels like it would be a victory for the Hurricanes just to separate these two England batsmen. Just in the last couple of overs, they've really climbed into Mitchell Owen, the debutant, and Darcy Short's relatively innocuous left arm wrist spin. And looking down the Hobart Hurricanes lineup, very powerful top 6: McDermott, Short, Milan, Ingram, Hanscom, David. But you just wonder if it's that extra bowling options where they're short. They're missing James Faulkner tonight. He's been struggling with a hamstring injury. But with Mitchell Owen and Darcy Short trying to make up the 5th bowler, they've struggled.
Yeah, it's been a tough day out for them, both with the bat as well and the ball, and they're well behind this. So play's about to resume after the break. The crowd enjoying the early evening warmth in Perth. The sun hasn't set yet. There's still some of the crowd are still in sunshine in the top tiers, and Lamashane is back. Got 2 overs for 16. Might need to see Meredith back as well with his extra pace, but they just feel a bit short of bowling options and shorter runs. I mean, that's the key, they're shorter runs. Roy isn't, he's 49. Lamashane goes in and bowls to him, and he goes back and guides us into the offside and says, thanks very much, I'll take a 50. I'll have my half century, I won't take a risk there. So a 35 ball half century for Jason Roy, hitting that one square with the wicket, and the two batsmen come down and punch gloves, and Roy holds his bat up to the crowd to acknowledge the applause. 87 for no wicket, and it's always a nice feeling as an overseas player. So much expectation on you as well, because of, your reputation is so high, to come out and produce. Lamachane bowls short, pulled away by Livingston, out towards deep mid wicket. That's gone for 4 as well. Goes on like this, it might not be that long before Livingston is joining Roy on that half-century mark. He's on 39. It's his best score of this season's Big Bash. A rifle pull through mid-wicket, sitting back, and Lamachane dropping just a fraction short. Livingston cracking it away. 91 for no wicket. Lamachane goes in, bowls to Livingston outside the off stump, and that's the inside edge past the wicketkeeper. Goes down towards short fine leg, and Livingston gets a rather streaky, fortuitous 40th run. It's 48 to win off 57 balls, 92 for no wicket. In the 11th over, Lamachane went into bowl there and then pulled out. I noticed the non-striker Livingston was out of his ground, and he could have whipped off the bails. He decided not to. I don't think he pulled out because he was worrying about the player backing out. I think he just lost his run. Lamachane bowls from behind the crease. Roy drives powerfully. It's only half stopped at extra cover. A very good shot. David comes in from long off to pick up, and they get a single. Really hit hard by Roy into the offside. Not entirely surprised that it was misfielded at extra cover. It's hit that hard. 93 for no wicket, 140 to win. Lamachane goes in, bowls to Livingston, who's back chopping that straight to backward point, and there is no run. Livingston 40, Roy 51. The England pair coming good at the top of the order for the Perth Scorchers, who are on course for a 5th successive win. Lamachane bowls to Livingston. Livingston chops that away straight to backward point again, and once more there is no run. So 11 overs have been bowled. It's 93 for no wicket. Roy is on 51. Livingston is on 40. Perth Scorchers making light work of this task of scoring 140. They've got 1 point. They're heading for 4, it looks like, today. Abhishek Jujunwala is alongside me, and Stefan Shamot is going to pick up the commentary.
Yeah, Jason Roy making a half-century in this match, his first half-century of the Big Bash season. It's also good news for England, actually. Jason Roy struggled with the bat throughout the year in the white ball format. You have to go back to February to find his last half-century for England in either of the white ball formats, T20 or one-day internationals. He struggled in the 3 T20 internationals in South Africa, which was his last cricket before the Big Bash, making scores of 0, 14 and 16. Obviously didn't play in the one-day international series that was postponed. Here comes Scott Boland starting a new over to Jason Roy, who short arms a pull shot up towards long on. The score moves on to 94, the Scorchers. They need only 46 from 53 delivery, still yet to lose a wicket. Jason Roy, he didn't play in the IPL, which was in between the end of the English season and that South Africa series, just to sort of rest himself. He'd had a few hamstring problems. And with England due to play white ball matches in India in the later part of the winter, it's Boland bowls. Livingston dabs the ball towards third man, and there's no run. And they're building up, hopefully, towards a T20 World Cup in the autumn back in India. For Jason Roy to return to form is a massive boost to that powerful England batting lineup. He has 52 from 37 balls. Liam Livingstone 40 from 31. I mean, he's a man who can't really get near the England white ball teams. He's been around as a reserve, but probably wouldn't be travelling if they didn't have such large squads. Boland bowls to Livingstone, who pulls a short ball out towards deep mid wicket for a single. Scorchers go to 95 without loss midway through the 12th over. They only need another 45 runs. Abhishek, can you sort of give an Indian perspective on the embarrassment of riches England have when it comes to white ball batting?
Yeah, I mean, see, we all know that England is probably one of the top sides in the world, if not the best side in the world when it comes to white ball cricket, T20 and one-days.
Boland stomps into Roy, who scoops miles down towards long leg for 6. Almost doesn't seem possible that a batsman can play a stroke like that. Roy almost falling over towards the offside. flicking the ball off his pad, so beautifully timed, and the long leg fielder was on the boundary, but it sailed over his head, and Liam Livingston's got a huge smile on his face.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, it's a 101 without loss, 100 partnership between Jason Roy and Liam Livingston. Livingston enjoyed that shot of Jason Roy's.
Sorry, that's an extraordinary shot. Like, to get it over that fine leg fielder was unbelievable.
Boland beats Roy this time outside the off stump. Roy just fiddling, looking at a late cut, and is beaten. 39 off 49 the Scorchers require.
And as you mentioned, I think Livingston enjoyed that shot a lot more than Jason Roy, who actually hit that shot. He came running with a fist pump, and he said, I absolutely loved it. But that was an exceptional shot as well, to get the ball from outside, way outside the off stump, and he was kind of running towards the ball when he played that shot. He wasn't stable, and still to be able to manage it to go over the fine leg fielder, incredible shot.
Last ball of the 12th over, Roy flat bats back towards Boland and has to dive back into his ground as the bowler does the fielding off his own bowling, turns around and hurls the ball at the striker's end. Roy was almost setting off on a run, surprised to see Boland collect the ball from what was actually a pretty ropey delivery that Roy could have hit almost anywhere in Perth. Somehow he slapped it back to the bowler and got nothing. End of the 12th over, Perth Scorchers 101 without loss. Jason Roy 58, Liam Livingston 41. Scorchers require 39 off 48 deliveries for their 5th consecutive victory. The England pair are carrying the Perth side towards a comfortable win.
Yeah, they batted really well initially. For the first couple of overs, they found it a bit difficult with the pace of Meredith and Boland. But since then, once they got going, it was no stopping, and both of these players have taken a lot of responsibility. And Jason Roy, as you mentioned, being the overseas player and being the professional for the side, he had to step up. He's had some scores in this year's competition, but not really a one which has made a lot of impact until tonight. And today he has batted really well.
The pace of Riley Meredith returns to Livingston short. Livingston pulls, no great timing up towards mid-on for a single, 102 without loss.
Yeah, again, trying to hit it too hard rather than just looking to time it. Livingstone really wants to hit the ball hard towards the boundary, but still managed to get one. Meredith, who's been brilliant for the Hobart Hurricanes, he's picked up 12 wickets in this year's competition so far, and he's bowled with some real pace and intent. And again, probably the last resort, they brought him back into the attack to pick a wicket or two, even though I think that'll be still too late, even if they manage to get a couple of wickets, because at the moment the match is in the pocket for the Scorchers.
Meredith bowls to Roy, backs off, tries an uppercut at a short delivery, gets nothing on it, dot ball. Score remains 102 for 2. Scorchers require 38 off 46 balls. Should do it with ease. It's live commentary of the Big Bash League on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. Tomorrow at this time it's the Sydney Derby, the top two, the Sixers and the Thunder. They're playing in Canberra. And then on Thursday, 4:15 in the morning, live Test match special commentary of the first Test between Sri Lanka and England in Galle. Both Test matches will be live on Test match special. Meredith bowls to Jason Roy, full on the leg stump, clipped very fine. This will work for the long leg fielder Lamashane to do. He gets round, couple taken, 104 without loss. The Scorchers, couple of leg byes signalled. Now just 36 runs required. And yeah, with that Sri Lanka versus England Test match beginning on Thursday morning, it also means on Friday morning from midnight, so midnight Thursday night, we'll have double Test match action. Firstly, the final Test match between Australia versus India in Brisbane, rolling on into coverage of Sri Lanka versus England. So around about 12 hours of continuous Test match coverage across the BBC over the weekend. Meredith bowls to Roy, full delivery. Roy drives powerfully to mid-on but can't beat the fielder Tim David, and there's no run. Scorchers remain 104 without loss. They need 36 off 34 deliveries. Meredith in the Hobart purple, Optus Stadium now completely covered in shadow. It's a warm, sunny evening in Perth, blue sky, but because the stands of the Optus Stadium climb so high into the sky, the entire playing surface is now covered in shadow in the bowl-like stadium. Hurricanes on the road in the purple, on the wrong end of a shellacking here. as Meredith runs into Jason Roy. Slower ball, but Roy fetches it out towards a very long leg side boundary, square for 4. He's on to 62 from 44 deliveries. Scorchers 108 without loss, need only another 32 runs.
Yeah, they're making it real easy. And again, a slower ball, picked it up really early, Jason Roy, and then hit it really well between that deep mid-wicket and deep square leg fielder. Again, finding the gap with ease. And swatted it to that onside fielder here. Very well picked slower delivery by Jason Roy. And when he's in form, he's such a difficult batsman to bowl at, because he's got arrays of shot all around the ground as well.
Meredith blows out his cheeks as he runs into Roy, swatting down the ground up towards mid-on. No timing, but Roy gets through for a single. End of the 13th over. Scorchers 109 without loss. They need 31 from 42. Jason Roy has 63. Liam Livingstone 42. Abhishek Junjunwala, you've played in the Indian Premier League, a lot of T20 cricket. Is there anything you can do as the fielding side, or do you almost just want to get off the park and end the misery?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, to be honest, it's not realistic for the Hobart Hurricane to make any sort of comeback. It's a lost cause. So I think the only thing they can do here is probably try and keep them in the park as long as they can, and not lose much of their net run rate. But apart from that, yeah, it's pretty much game over for the Hobart Hurricane here.
We've talked a lot about how the Scorchers had a poor start to the Big Bash League. No win in their first 4 games. In fairness, one of those games was against the Melbourne Stars when it rained, and they'd racked up a huge total. They probably would have won that game had it not rained. But that was part of their winless 4-game run. But since then, they've beaten Adelaide, the Melbourne Renegades, and both Sydney teams. And this would be a 5th straight victory. Here comes Nathan Ellis, bowling his fast medium. Starts with a slower ball to Jason Roy. Good running from Liam Livingstone to be through quickly for a single as the ball is dropped on the onside. Score moves to 110 without loss. Scorchers need 30 from 41 deliveries. Jason Roy 64 off 46 at the non-striker's end. He just squeezes his helmet against his head to get the sweat dripping out of the headband.
They've made it pretty easy. I think they would look to finish the game by the 16th or the 17th over latest, and try and improve that net run rate. If they don't lose any wicket, that's going to really help them a lot. But it's been a thorough professional performance from the Perth Scorchers. When they came out to bowl, they had a plan, they executed it to perfection, and with the batting so far, they have been exceptional as well, with 110 without losing a wicket of 13.1 over.
Livingston waits on 42. It's a straight delivery from Ellis that hits Livingston on the pad and drops at his feet for the bowler to do the fielding. We talked about the Scorchers and their run of good form. They're the most successful team in Big Bash history. 3-time champions, twice runners-up. But only finished 6th last year and were bottom the year before. So they've taken a little bit of time to adjust to the Optus Stadium and to recover from Justin Langer leaving to become Australia coach. But now they're on an excellent run of form. Adam Voges is the coach at the helm. Ashton Turner the captain. He's almost a non-playing captain at the moment, barely batting, barely bowling. Ellis bowls to Livingstone, who goes aerial up towards long on for 6. What a powerful stroke that is from Liam Livingstone. It's gone low and flat, but sailed 10 rows back into the crowd over the long on fielder. Livingstone is on to 48 from 35 deliveries. Scorchers 116 without loss. They only need another 24 to win.
Oh, that was, again, what a great shot. Again, the Lynn delivery, the ball was in the slot, but the power he can generate from those sort of deliveries is just exceptional. Liam Livingstone hitting it really, really hard, flat as well. Didn't get hang time. If you look at the hang time, there's hardly any hang time. It just flew straight into the crowd.
Livingstone on the verge of his first half century of the season. He drives outside the off stump to a low full toss all the way out to the cover sweeper. Dawid Malan is the man who does the fielding. They just settle for a single, 117 without loss, so Livingstone on 49. He's waving his bat towards the dugout, not in celebration of a half century, because he's not there yet. He wants a replacement. I think that one might have gone in the handle.
No,
and he's got a big split, actually, just where all up the back. Oh, if that's his favourite bat, he's going to be devastated. There's no repairing that one.
Yeah. That broke pretty badly. The back literally came off.
He's at the non-strikers end, Livingston, as Ellis bowls to Jason Roy outside the off stump. He drives a low full toss straight back down the ground. Two men in purple at long on and long off converge on the ball, ensure that the Scorchers only take a single. They move on to 118 without loss. Now Livingston is going to change his bat. Like you said, Abhishek, it's almost split in half, all up the back. And when he was leaning on his bat at the non-strikers end, you're almost worried that he was going to fall over because the bat would break underneath him. He sort of yelled as well. I don't know if it was one of those where he got it right at the bottom and he got the vibrations up his hand. Those can be really painful. He's got a new bat now, Liam Livingston. He's going to be facing up to Nathan Ellis on 49 with one delivery of the 14th over remaining.
And more often we have seen where the bat always breaks when the ball hits the bottom part of the bat. It's like a yorker or a low full toss.
Livingston on 49, Ellis slower ball, and Livingston just pushes it into the onside for a single to reach his first half century of the season from 37 deliveries. Loud applause inside the Optus Stadium for Liam Livingston. Had an excellent first campaign with the Scorchers last year, but struggled so far this time. Before this game, only 69 runs in 5 innings with a strike rate of 92. While tonight, alongside his England teammate Jason Roy, they have dominated the Hobart Hurricanes. Scorchers 119 without loss. They need only 21 runs from 36 balls. Liam Livingston 50 from 37.
Yeah, I think it's great news for Scorchers, especially the only place they were struggling in this tournament was the opening pair, where yes, they were getting a bit of a start, but they never managed to get a big one. But with these two being in form now, I think it'll be very difficult for the other teams to stop the Scorchers, especially given when Monroe comes back, if Mitch Mars gets fit. It's a long batting order, and it's a very, very powerful batting order as well. So Scorchers are looking all set for this year's Big Bash to qualify in the top 5 and go all the way, go further than that.
Scott Boland conceded 20 runs from his 3 overs, bowling to Liam Livingston, who heaves it into the onside. There's going to be a big gap there between deep mid-wicket and long on. It goes for 4. It's a huge playing area, the Optus Stadium. Mainly, it's the square boundaries that are nice and long. And there's a big old gap. Once it beat the short mid-wicket fielder, there was no one there to stop it from hitting the rope. 123 without loss, the Scorchers. They need only another 17 runs.
Yeah, that's an easy picking as well for Liam Livingstone. Just dragging it from outside the off stump. The ball was way outside, but still managed to hit it through that mid-wicket area, picking the gap nicely again. And the pressure is back on Boland.
One big over and this game could be done. Boland bowls to Livingston across his stumps. He's flicked this way into the air. There's a fielder underneath it. He should take the catch comfortably and does. Dawid Malan holds on at deep square leg with a big smile on his face. Liam Livingston departs with a rueful look. Dawid Malan's got his arm around Darcy Shaw because the Hobart Hurricanes have at least avoided the indignity of a 10-wicket defeat. Liam Livingston, though, he's done his job. He goes for 54. The first wicket falls with the score on 123. The Perth Scorchers need 17 more runs to win, but Liam Livingston is gone, caught by Dawid Malan at deep square leg off the bowling of Scott Boland. He leaves now raising his bat. An excellent effort from the Lancashire and England batsman.
A very good effort from Liam Livingstone, though he was a bit livid, a bit annoyed with himself because he wanted to finish the game and be there till the end. And we could see that with that shot. He really wanted to finish this game probably in this over itself, but nevertheless played a very, very good hand for his side. 54 of 39, and with Jason Roy being in the middle, it's just a matter of time. In comes the new batter, Inglis. He's been Josh Inglis. He's got a few good knocks in this year's BBL as well. 72, 44, a couple of 20s as well. So yeah, but Scorchers batting order, there's no question to be asked. The whole team looks in very good form now.
An England batsman departs. A batsman born in England arrives. Josh Inglis, the man born in Leeds, who played age group cricket for Yorkshire. His family emigrated when he was 14. He's at the non-strikers end as Boland bowls to Jason Roy. Short arm pull out towards deep mid-wicket just for a single. Score moves on to 124 for 1. The Scorchers need another 16 runs as Josh Inglis prepares to face his first delivery. 192 runs in 8 innings with a strike rate of 137. So he's been travelling decently so far in this season of the Big Bash League.
Yeah, he's been going pretty okay. He didn't start that well for the first 4 games. He didn't get going, but since then he's been in a decent form. He's been scoring runs pretty much every game.
Yeah, his last 5 knocks, his lowest score is 16, so he's been getting starts. Boland bowls, Inglis defends, behind square on the offside, wants a single. Loud call of no from Jason Roy. And although they've lost that wicket, Abhishek, and they've missed out on the chance for a 10-wicket win, potentially the only negative this evening from the Perth Scorchers point of view is the worry of that injury to Mitchell Marsh, who could only bowl 3 deliveries before he went off holding his side.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to miss a player like him going forward into the tournament in the fag end of the innings.
Boland bowls to Inglis, forced towards point, and there's no run. So as you would expect with the new batsman coming in, just a little stalling in the momentum, a delay in the Perth Scorchers victory march. Yeah, he's been such a key player, hasn't he, Mitchell Marsh? He's just agreed a new 4-year contract with the Scorchers.
Yep.
He's been scoring his runs at a strike rate of 143. He's such a valuable bowling option as well. He balances the team. So the Scorchers will be crossing their fingers. But when it's a side injury to a bowler, they can be lengthy absences. He may, of course, be able to play just as a batsman. Boland to Inglis. Tucked behind square off the pads, out to the fielder at deep backward square leg. So Inglis is underway from the final delivery of the 15th over. The Scorchers need 15 runs from 30 deliveries to beat the Hobart Hurricanes. They're 125 for 1. Jason Roy 66 and Inglis with the single to his name.
Yeah, looking at the Scorchers team, I think even if he's fit enough to bat, I'm sure they will pick him because they've got their bowling covered. They've got plenty of options in their armory when it comes to bowling. So they can easily afford somebody like Mitch Marsh just to play purely as a batsman. And they know that how much value he adds just as a batsman, leave alone his bowling. And he's such a good fielder as well. So the moment he's fit to play, I think, even fit to bat, he will be picked in the side. And from their point of view, they would just hope that nothing serious has happened where he has to go on a long break. And probably that's the reason they just didn't allow him to bat in tonight's game. They had the option to make a sub. They did it halfway through the innings after the 10th over. So I think they've taken the right decision by not playing him and not getting involved in this game tonight.
The concern for the Scorchers is that Colin Munro has an injury. Nathan Ellis starts his 3rd over, figures of 0 for 13 for so far. Full ball down the leg side will be called wide. 126 for 1, 14 required for victory. Yeah, Colin Munro has been Perth's leading run scorer in the Big Bash so far this season with 237 runs. He's missed out tonight with a quad injury. Cameron Bancroft replaced him. Joe Clark, another English batsman, had been recalled to the squad as a replacement for Munro, but he didn't get the nod tonight. It went to Bancroft. But when you talk about their batting depth, Ashton Turner, I mean, he's only faced 70 balls so far in this year's Big Bash. Alice bowls outside, Inglis is off stump. Hit powerfully straight to the backward point fielder, and there's no run.
Yes, timed that really well here, Inglis. But straight to the fielder, and we just again looking at the replay where Liam Livingstone was dropped. I think he was on a duck when he was
his first ball.
Yeah, it was his first ball, yeah, from Darcy shot. That came out quite expensive for them. And that's what happens with cricket. The moment you drop somebody, the luck changes, and you often see them going out there and scoring a big inning.
Ellis to Inglis, wristily clipping this one into the onside past the short mid-wicket fielder. It's been timed beautifully and it'll go for 4. That's a classical stroke from Inglis. He goes on to 5 from 5, and that sort of textbook execution would be fitting of any format of the game. 130 for 1, the Scorchers.
Yeah, very, very good use of his wrist. A lot of bottom hand in that shot, though the ball was full, was half volley onto the pads, but he still got to put them away. And very, very nicely played shot. The head position was really good in that shot as well, and timing very, very good. So good start for Inglis.
Scorchers need 10 to win. They've got the luxury of 28 deliveries in which to get them. Ellis holds the ball out in front of him as he runs in, and again it's on the pads of Inglis, who once more wristily clips into the onside. This time it's behind square. There's no need for the Scorchers to risk a second run. They move on to 131 for 1. They need only 9 from 27 deliveries. And Abhishek, You mentioned the dropped catch Liam Livingstone put down on Naught, first delivery of the second over. And those are the sort of things that Hobart had to grab when they were defending relatively meagre total of 140.
Absolutely, and it's not just about taking a straightforward catch. You've got to try and convert those half chances into chances if you want to win a game where you've just got 139 on board. So once they dropped that catch, it was a bit difficult.
Roy on strike, 9 to win. Slower ball from Nathan Ellis that Roy crabs into the onside for a single. 132 for 1. The Scorchers need 8 to win, so they're within 2 blows.
Yeah, so with games like this where you only have managed to get 139, unless you pick up 3 or 4 wickets in the first 5 or 6 overs, it's very difficult to make a comeback. And that's exactly what we have seen in tonight's game as well. And Scorchers never gave an opportunity after that drop from Darcy short of Livingstone. And since then, it's just been Jason Roy and Livingstone. They batted really well in the middle.
Ellis onto Inglis's hip, nicely pushed out towards deep square leg. The huge hulking figure of Tim David does the fielding. Just a single taken. There's 1 delivery of the 16th over remaining. Perth Scorchers 133 for 1. They need 7 runs to win in the shadows of the Optus Stadium. Nathan Ellis, fast medium bowler. It's not a tall man. He's got blonde hair. He's conceded 21 runs from his 2.5 overs. Got a very long, straight approach. Red soles of his boots kicking up as he bowls to Roy, who looks for a big drive but only gets an inside edge into the onside. And the Scorchers take a single. They need 6 more runs to win. They're 134 for 1. Jason Roy has 68. Josh Inglis 7 from 7.
Yeah, the question is now, can Jason Roy finish the game with the 6 here in the next over? They definitely look to finish the game in the next over. They don't want to drag it for too long. I don't think now even Hobart Hurricane wants to stay there for too long either. So they can go back and regroup as well and have a chat about what went wrong, what went right. But if you have watched the game, it's completely been Perth Scorchers. From the moment they won the toss, they put the other side into Hobart Hurricane to come out and bat. They've controlled the game completely. Initially with their bowling, their bowlers have been exceptional, and since they've come out to bat, they didn't give any opportunity to the Hobart Hurricanes to make a comeback in this game.
6 to win. Riley Meredith back bowling to Jason Roy, who powerfully pulls out towards deep mid-wicket for 4. Short for Meredith, and although he's got pace, the sort of evening that Jason Roy is having, he'll pounce on that all night long. He's on to 72 from 51. The Scorchers need only 2 more runs to win. 138 for 1.
Yeah, that was slapped past the mid-on field. I hate it so hard, Jason Roy. Though it was quick, it was short, but they had enough time. Now he's set, he's watching the ball closely. He's probably the cricket ball is looking like a football to him at the moment, the way he's batting. 51 deliveries for his 72. And when Jason Roy is in such good form, and when he's batting so well, it's difficult for any bowler to find a way to stop him.
2 to win. Roy on strike. He pulls out towards long leg and is dropped. And that'll be the game. Sandeep Lamishane, he doesn't know where the ball's gone. And the Scorchers are going to come back for the winning runs. That's their 5th victory on the bounce. Jason Roy ends 74 not out. The Perth Scorchers have beaten the Hobart Hurricanes by 9 wickets with 22 balls remaining. A slightly bizarre end to the game as Jason Roy pulled out towards long leg. Sandeep Lamishane, it looked like there was a chance of a catch. Roy was just standing and waiting. I don't know if it did carry to Lamishane, but the ball hit him and then he was just doing a circle trying to figure out where it had gone. That's academic anyway. The Scorchers would have won comfortably even if the catch had been taken, but a slightly comical end to the game. Perth Scorchers have overhauled Hobart Hurricanes 139 for 5 for the loss of only 1 wicket. It's been an absolute hammering, Abhishek Jhunjhunwala.
Oh, it's been a complete hammering for the Hobart Hurricanes tonight, but as we discussed throughout the day, that Perth Scorchers came out as a much better side. They had more intent from the very first delivery, and from then on they never gave a chance to the Hobart Hurricanes to make a comeback into the side. So it's been a thorough professional performance by the Scorchers, and it's always good to see Jason Roy and Liam Livingstone getting back in form, both playing a wonderful hand for their side, both scoring a 50. Jason Roy at the end not out, but what a performance this has been by the Scorchers.
Yeah, superb bowling display by the Perth Scorchers limited Hobart Hurricanes to 139 for 5 after Hobart won the toss. Darcy Short's 54, the mainstay of that total. And then in the chase, the England pair of Jason Roy and Liam Livingstone, the openers, shared 123 for the first wicket. It might have been different had Liam Livingstone been taken from the first ball he faced, but he was dropped by Short off the bowling of Boland. He went on to make 54. Jason Roy 74 not out. Josh Inglis had 7 when the winning runs were scored from the second ball of the 17th over. The Scorchers not only take the victory but the bash boost point as well. They move up to third in the table above the Adelaide Strikers on net run rate. Abhishek, Scorchers, they started poorly, no victory in their first 4 games. Now they've won 5 on the trot, and not only in this competition but also in the Indian Premier League. You've spoken about peaking at the right time, and that's what the Scorchers are doing as the group stage moves towards its conclusion.
Well, absolutely, the team is peaking at the right time, and I also feel a lot of players are peaking at the right time as well with their performance, and that's the key if you want to win a big tournament, may it be the IPL or the Vitality if you're playing in England, or the Big Bash in Australia. So it's all about picking up at the right time and performing at the right time, and that's exactly what they're doing. And going forward, it'll be a tough team for everyone else to beat.
Thanks, Abhishek.
Thanks.
We're in the middle of a bumper week of live cricket across the BBC on 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. Thursday morning, 4:15, Sri Lanka versus India, the first test. Full commentary on Test Match Special from the Test Match in Galle. Later in the week as well, Australia versus India, the final Test Match in Brisbane. That starts on Friday morning at midnight. So 2 Test matches to look forward to on the BBC at the end of this week and across the weekend. As for the Big Bash League, this time tomorrow, 8:15, the Sydney Derby, the top 2, the Sixers versus the Thunder, being played in Canberra. My thanks to Abhishek Junjunwala and Simon Mann. I've been Stefan Schemmelt, and for now, it's goodbye.
Welcome to The Players, the podcast that flips the script on how we talk football.
As soon as I stepped over that white line, I was focused, I was in the zone. I wanted to win at every opportunity that I could.
I'm passing the mic to those who know it best.
Yeah, I am still young, so I hope there's going to be plenty more goals to come.
That was the best moment of my international career.
What really goes on and off the pitch.
You know what? I've never tried haggis.
So you've tried a deep fried Mars bar?
I'm Beck Smith, and this is The Players. Subscribe on BBC Sounds.
International fixtures, including the Six Nations, Rugby World Cup and Autumn Internationals.
The underdogs have barked loudly.
What a take though! It's taken by Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis is going to go. Interception from Gareth Davis. He's run 3/4 the length of the field.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including Formula One.
He's about to do his first ever Formula One start. All the drivers are now lined up at the front of this Albert Park circuit. The Australian fans are all on their feet.
With full coverage of practice rounds and qualifying.
Max Verstappen then across the line to start his flying lap. The sparks fly from underneath the Red Bull in the pitch darkness of the Singapore night. Here comes Vettel, faster still.
Plus, live action and analysis from across the F1 calendar.
All 5 lights are on and the first Grand Prix of the season is go.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolter! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including international cricket with Test Match Special.
Listen to this noise. We're right up in the roof. Bowles, that's driven. Lovely shot from Stone. It's timed that really